Chapter 392. Those who play tricks have dirty hearts. Rumble. Thunder rumbled in the sky above the underworld. Thick clouds covered the sky, and the overwhelming might cause the ghost soldiers in the surroundings to tremble, not daring to look up. Leopard tail. Xie smiled faintly. His palm swept across the air casually. If you came, then so be it. Don't put on such a show. That will only make you feel inferior. When the thick clouds dispersed, four middle-aged men stood proudly in the sky. They all wore the same black clothes, and looked like brothers as they stared at Xie. All of you actually came. Scared? The four middle-aged men descended from the sky at the same time. One of them, who had a long beard like a cat, smiled. Scared of you? Xie smiled. Even if the four of you come at me together, do you dare to come over? All of a sudden, the atmosphere froze. Yi Zichen gulped, while Xie face lit up with excitement. The four people in front of him were not small fry from the underworld. They were Leopard Tail, Bird Beak, Wasp, Fish Gill, the four marshals of the underworld, who were known as the 10 marshals of the underworld alongside the impermanences. As a descendant of the Xie family, he naturally knew that his family's old man didn't get along with the 4 marshals of the underworld, who were in charge of beasts. However, he didn't expect the old man to be so fierce and shout at the 4 of them, as if he didn't take him seriously at all. Grandpa! The pig-faced fatty Bao Tan stumbled over. At that moment, he no longer had the arrogance from before on his face. Instead, he sobbed as if he was greatly wronged. They hit me, and said that I'm ugly. Lil Tan, go and stand on the side. These grandpas will definitely get justice for you later. The man beside Bao Tan smiled, then rubbed Bao Tan's hair. Bao Tan nodded, then walked to the side. When he walked behind them, he immediately revealed a proud, cold smile. Who told you brats to shout at me? Now, don't even think about running. Xie, we're colleagues. It won't be good if we start a fight in the ghost region. Leave the young man behind you to me. Oh yeah, and your disciple. She seemed to be the cockiest just now. Maybe you're too busy to discipline him, so let me, your elder brother, do it for you. Leopard Tail coldly raised his head. Xie sneered and shook his head. Don't play tricks with me. I don't have time to play with you. If you want him, you can. Come over here. Bang. A massive wave of spiritual energy instantly enveloped the entire central street of the ghost domain. The boundless aura caused the 4 nether commanders to be stunned. However, the 4 of them quickly narrowed their eyes at the same time, and a spiritual energy pressure that wasn't any weaker than this wave of spiritual energy emanated from their bodies. Xie, your cultivation has regressed recently, right? Leopard Tail snorted. When Xie felt their spiritual power, his pupils shrank. This shouldn't be the case. At their level, it was harder than ascending to the heavens to advance a level. 100 years ago, these people were only early-stage human immortals. Now, they were actually high-level human immortals like him. Don't think that you're still the leader of the 10 great marshals. We were weaker than you in the past. Do you think we'll let you step on us forever? Boom. An even more berserk aura radiated from the 4 of them. Xie merely stared at them with a frown, but Yi Zichen sensed that something was amiss. It's a bit like demonic energy. Ziziz, it's so lively. How can you not count me, old ox, in if you want to fight? At that moment, Oxhead, who had a gold ring on his nose, walked over with a baseball bat-like stick in his hand, while Horseface followed beside him. Leopard Tail, you didn't learn from beating you 100 years ago, right? You want to fight us, the 4 ghost marshals, again? As they spoke, Oxhead and Horseface already arrived beside Xie. Old Xie, don't be courteous with them. Beat them up as you should. I wonder where they got their medicine from. Do they really think that they're the bosses of the underworld after eating it to increase their cultivation? Oxhead laughed coldly. Horseface also nodded. Big Brother Oxhead is right. Big Brother Oxhead is right. The atmosphere was tense. The atmosphere was getting more and more weird. Since the ghost marshals were inseparable from the black and white impermanents, the black impermanents would definitely make a move if they truly fought. However, just what's going on with King Qingguang and King Chujiang? Why aren't they here yet? Big brother, King Chujiang anxiously rushed into King Qingguang's Yama palace. King Qingguang, who was sitting on a chair and reading documents, frowned and berated. Why are you panicking? What a scandal! No. King Chujiang squinted his eyes and frowned. The expert was blocked. I originally wanted to send people to save him, but just now I saw. Those old enemies have met again. King Qingguang said without raising his head. Right. How did Big Brother know? You went too? King Chujiang was stunned. King Qingguang nodded noncommittally. The expert also sent me a message. How could I not go? Then Big Brother. We can't do anything about it. King Qingguang shook his head and said, 7 of the 10 great Yin marshals went. If we go, which side should we side with? It's not easy to be the King Yenluo of Hell, so we'll just pretend that we can't see it. As long as no lives are lost, we don't show ourselves and wait for the Bodhisattva to return. That's true. King Chujiang sighed lightly. Yama kings like them could not compare to generals like them at all in terms of strength. What's more, they needed their support in order to maintain the stability of the underworld. If they sided with either side, then they would offend a lot of people. King Chujiang let out a long sigh, then raised his eyebrows. Big Brother, there was a huge commotion at the reincarnation pool when I came. It seems like that girl is about to come out. What? King Qingguang stood up from his chair, then slapped his thigh. Seriously, she didn't come out earlier or later. This is huge. Hurry up and keep an eye on the reincarnation pool. When that ancestor comes out, you have to stop her. I'm going to find the Bodhisattva right now. Whoosh. A maple leaf fell from the sky, then was blown away by the wind. The high-ranking officials of the underworld stared at each other like children fighting. Although their auras were rather strong, none of them made a move. Heh! At this moment, Leopard Tail suddenly grinned. That strange smile shocked everyone. Then they noticed that one person was missing from Leopard Tail's side. Yi Zichen turned around and saw that Yellow Bee, who was standing on Leopard Tail's side, had already appeared behind him, and by row. Heh! Yellow Bee sneered coldly, then reached his hands towards Yi Zichen, and by Row's collars without any hesitation. Zoom! Oxhead, Horseface and Xie Bayan charged over at the same time, but Leopard Tail and the other two stopped them. What are you doing? You want to save them? Leopard Tail, you're truly regressing. You're even starting to play tricks now? Xie Bayan's eyes darkened, while Leopard Tail smiled playfully. Playing tricks? Do you think everyone is as straightforward as you? Hee hee. At that moment, a cold laugh sounded out in the sky. Those who play tricks have dirty hearts. Whoosh. In an instant, 2 blades of energy shot through the sky. Chapter 393. Lu Qing. His words were supposed to be cold, but in the ears of the crowd they sounded adorable. The 2 blades of qi slammed into the ground at this moment, giving off a loud rumble. Even so, the attack power was still enough to make one's scalp go numb. Ouch, I missed. Another cute cry rang out in the void. Leopard Tail and the others quickly retreated to their original positions and frowned. Who is it? He, why should I tell you? Above the void, a girl wearing white boots like a saintess slowly descended from the sky, giggling. Flower petals danced around her from time to time, making her look stunning. Lu Jing. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The girl giggled and ran to his side. Did you miss me? When Yi Zichen got closer, he could even feel the overwhelming spiritual energy around her, as if it was seeping out from her body. No, it's not overflowing. It was because her affinity with the spiritual qi between heaven and earth was too high. Wherever she went, the spiritual qi would gather around her. He just wanted to resurrect her, but he actually resurrected a monster. Hey, why are you looking at me like that? Lu Jing curled her lips and rolled her eyes at him. No, no. Yi Zichen stuttered. Leopardtail, who was standing not far away, snorted with a frown. Who are you? Did you not hear what this marshal said? How annoying! Lu Jing suddenly pouted unhappily. She turned around and glared at Leopardtail Dong. The leopard's tail, which had been standing on the ground, suddenly flew backwards and landed heavily on the ground, creating a deep pit. I'm talking to Yi Zichen. Don't interrupt. If anyone dares to speak, I'll beat you up. She raised her tender fists as if to demonstrate her power. These words were not threatening at all, but they made everyone in the hall not dare to let out a single fart. Mobilizing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, with just a glare, he could cause a high-stage human immortal expert to suffer heavy injuries without being able to react. This was a strength that only a celestial immortal or above could possess, and this little girl who looked like she was carved out of jade was actually a sky immortal. With the help of his brothers, Leopardtail also came out of the divine pit. However, this time, the way he looked at Lu Jing had changed. Fear. A deep sense of fear flashed through his eyes. That strike just now had allowed him to understand the vast gap between the two of them. Yi Zichen, why aren't you saying anything? Did you get scared, silly? I'm amazing, right? Lu Jing smiled proudly like a little girl. The surrounding marshals were all stunned when they saw this. A sky immortal expert was actually so intimate with this kid. "'S amazing." Yi Zichen could no longer hide the shock in his heart. This could no longer be described as amazing. He could extinguish a worldly immortal expert with just a stare. Even a monkey wouldn't be able to handle it. If this girl went to the heavenly court, wouldn't she be on equal footing with old Lord Taishang and the others? More importantly, with Lu Jing's relationship with him, she would definitely follow him closely. Doesn't that mean that I have a super strong helper by my side in the future? This was a bug. The system would definitely punish him for obtaining a supreme artifact in the later stages of the game's early stages. Hee, as long as you think it's powerful. Lu Jing shook her head with a sweet smile, then hooked her finger towards Bao Tan. Bao Tan, who was trembling in the corner, couldn't help but fly over. "Grandpa, save me!" Bao Tan continuously kicked the ground and screamed. Leopardtail wanted to help, but could only choose to remain silent when he noticed Lu Jing's gaze. "At least you know what's good for you." Lu Jing snorted towards Leopardtail, then threw Bao Tan heavily in front of Yi Zichen. "Did this fatty make you unhappy? I'll leave him to you. Bully him however you want. If anyone here dares to resist, heh?" At that moment, Lu Jing was truly a tyrant. It was not an exaggeration to say that even if all the ghost marshals attacked at the same time, they might not be able to beat her. Bao Tan lay on the ground, trembling. He was really scared to death. "Ancestor, why did you still come here?" King Chujiang hurried over from behind with a helpless expression. He had been discussing with Lu Jing in the reincarnation pool. She had nodded in agreement, but in the time it took for her to take a sip of water, the ancestor was gone. Yi Zichen looked at Bao Tan, who was lying on the ground, and the injuries on Leopardtail's body. This ancestor definitely made a move. "Why didn't I come here? Someone is bullying Yi Zichen, so I have to protect him." Lu Jing rolled her eyes and snorted. "None of you here are good people. You all like to play tricks. People who play tricks have dirty hearts. I don't like you." "Oh, my ancestor!" King Chujiang was truly about to go crazy. He had no other choice but to look towards Yi Zichen with a pleading expression. "Master, please say a few good words to this ancestor. She was revived in the underworld, so please be merciful. You shouldn't hold grudges against a lowly person, and just let this matter go." Yi Zichen couldn't help but sigh silently when he saw King Chujiang's pitiful look. He had troubled him quite a bit in the past, so he gave Lu Jing a look. "Never mind," King Chujiang was overjoyed. "This master is easy to talk to." Lu Jing twitched her mouth in annoyance, then snapped her fingers. "Ah! A miserable shriek rang out from Bao Tan's mouth. His body seemed to explode as a mist of blood sprayed out. This is for you to remember. If you make Yi Zichen unhappy again, I'll make your entire family unhappy as well. Lu Jing pouted, then pulled Yi Zichen's hand and left. King Chujiang looked towards Leopard Tail and company to tell them to take care of Bao Tan, then followed behind them. Everyone else also left the scene in shock. After everyone left, Leopard Tail hammered the ground. Big bro! This little girl. Leopard Tail squinted his eyes and snorted. Endure it. Once we get in touch with the people over there, breaking through to the sky immortal level is only a matter of time. Laozi is going to get even with them sooner or later. On the way back, the little beggar followed behind carefully. Lu Jing pouted, then looked back. Who's this little fellow? Who is this little guy? The little beggar immediately shrunk his neck when he was called. He had seen how powerful this big sister was just now. My new lackey. He's one of us from now on, Yi Zichen smiled. Lu Jing also nodded. Then are we going back to the modern realm? I've already revived, so I can't stay here anymore? I don't like it here. We definitely have to go back, but we have to wait a bit, Yi Zichen smiled. Chapter 394. Mission accomplished. Another 2 days passed by in the blink of an eye. With Lu Jing by his side, Yi Zichen was truly able to do whatever he wanted in the underworld. The Yama kings already did not dare to do anything to him, but now they were even more afraid. During that time, Yi Zichen went over to Xiebian, Oxhead, and Horseface's place. Xiebian kept on saying that he wanted to see the ghost ring, but Yi Zichen couldn't figure it out even after thinking about it for a long time. After chatting for a while, Yi Zichen returned to his place and activated wait mode. Ding dong. System notification. Quest time remaining, 48 hours. Yi Zichen felt his scalp tingle when he saw the notification. King Chujiang had told him that King Qingguang had gone to find Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, but it had already been several days, but they had not returned. Master Ting, please come back quickly. Haha, let me guess which drinking buddy missed me so much. A soft chuckle sounded out in the room. Yi Zichen turned around and saw Daiting, who was wearing a white robe, standing in front of the door with a smile. What? You can't help it anymore? You're finally back. How can I endure looking at this pile of wine every day? Yi Zichen was overjoyed. If Daiting came back now, then he would be able to get there in 48 hours. Without hesitation, he took out all the alcohol from his treasure chest, filling up the entire table. When Di Ting saw this scene, he rubbed his hands and ran over. When he went out with Bodhisattva, he had been thinking about this pile of treasures, this fragrance. The Harkon's nose twitched slightly as it licked its lips and picked up a bottle of white wine. How did you open this wine? It doesn't look like the wine from the underworld. This is a fine wine from the mortal realm. How could I possibly invite Lord Harkon over for a drink? Yi Zichen smiled, then skillfully opened the bottle and handed it over with a smile. We're both people who love wine, so don't use cups. Just drink directly into your mouth. Don't leave until you're drunk. All right, we won't leave until we're drunk. Daiting also chuckled, then grabbed the bottle of Wuliangya liquor with his right hand and clinked it with Yi Zichen, then poured it down his throat. The wine is not bad, but I just feel that the taste is a little lacking. The ingredients used to brew it are a little lacking. The Harkon gulped down a bottle of wine, then placed it on the table and muttered under its breath. Yi Zichen was already immune to this. He admitted that the technology in the modern realm was more advanced, but the brewing materials were incomparable to those in the heavenly court and the underworld. But more importantly, the Harkon's alcohol tolerance was incredible. It was able to finish the bottle of high-alcohol Wuliangya in one gulp. But seeing that his face was not red and his heart was not beating fast, it was definitely an ocean. Yi Zichen used his celestial spiritual energy to refine the alcohol, then shoved a red bottle into Daiting's hand. Slightly sour in the mouth, mellow in the mouth, top grade. Every time Truth Listener drank it, it would comment on the wine. Although the ingredients used to brew the wine were unsatisfactory, the conclusions it came to were relatively good. At least he was not disgusted. As long as he continued to drink, there would be a chance. Yi Zichen had used all sorts of methods in order to get Diding drunk as soon as possible. Brother, drink to your heart's content. It's not good for you to always use your immortal spiritual energy to refine the wine. When Diding finished the bottle of beer, he pointed at Yi Zichen with a frown. Although I love wine, I can't hold my liquor. Isn't this just to accompany Lord Diding? Otherwise, I might have fallen asleep long ago with Lord Diding's alcohol tolerance. Yi Zichen smiled, but he was wondering why Diding could drink so much. Could a divine beast's body be so much stronger than a human's? Even several tens of men would get drunk from all the empty bottles in front of Diding. Haha, kid, I like you a lot. Diding chuckled, then grabbed the bottle and poured it into his mouth. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, but in his heart, he felt even more frantic. He had considered the possibility that Diding could hold his liquor very well, so he bought a large amount of alcohol. Even so, Diding had already drunk more than half of it. Even when he was about to finish it, he did not seem to be drunk at all. Approximately another half an hour passed by. Burp. After drinking for so long, Diding finally burped. He patted his stomach and stood up from the chair. He looked at the empty bottles on the floor, then placed his right hand on Yi Zichen's shoulder. Kid, you've accompanied me, Diding, today. If anyone in the underworld dares to bully you in the future, burp. Tell me your big brother Diding's name. All right. When Yi Zichen said that, his heart was filled with unwillingness. I miscalculated. He had already finished all the alcohol, but even so, Truth Listener remained awake. It didn't feel sleepy at all. He blushed and walked outside. When he reached the door, Lu Jing walked in. Let's meet again in the future. Diding waved his hand and left. At the same time, Lu Jing also looked at Yi Zichen with a frown. Why did you drink so much wine? This is bad. Yi Zichen sat down on the chair in the room powerlessly. Yi Zichen blinked and raised his eyebrows. What happened? After explaining the mission that the system gave him, Lu Jing blinked her eyes and giggled. Wait for me. Yi Zichen left the room without any explanation. He held his phone in his hand and stared at the system notification. If I hadn't stolen Truth Listener's leg, would you really have killed me? No response. Yi Zichen sighed dejectedly as he laid on the ground. At that moment, the petite Lu Jing walked in with someone on her back. Bang. You're talking about him, right? Yi Zichen, who was lying on the ground, immediately sat up when he saw the person on the ground. Why did you carry him back? You didn't let anyone else notice, right? What's there to be surprised about? If I want to carry him back, then so be it. No one in the underworld is stronger than me right now. If they want to discover me, they'll have to train for another 2 years. Lu Qing giggled and pointed at Diding, who was sleeping soundly on the ground. I've brought him here. How do you want to steal his leg? About this, at that moment, Diding, who was on the ground, returned to his auspicious beast form. Not long later, his 4 Qilin legs automatically detached from his body. They fell, Lu Jing exclaimed on the side. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then took out his phone and scanned the Qilin legs. Ding dong. Qilin legs obtained. Zoom. Zoom. In mere moments, Yi Zichen put the 4 Qilin legs into the treasure chest. After he was done, he glanced at Lu Qing. Send him to a safe place. Understood. Lu Jing nodded, then grabbed Diding by the neck and instantly left the room. At the same time, Yi Zichen's phone also rang. Ding dong. System notification. Congratulations for completing the mission. System notification. I have already sent you the mission reward. You can now exchange for the second batch of goods in the treasure shop. Of course, the prerequisite is that you have enough cultivation experience. Chapter 395. Chapter 395. Immortal Ascension Yi Zichen really wanted to curse when he saw the system notification. Just what does this guy want? It's like he's raising me, but he doesn't give me any face at all. I stole Dieting's leg, but what should I do next? Living like a marionette forever was not a life he wanted. Can you hear me? I just want to ask, who exactly are you? Yi Zichen stared at the system notification on his phone, but there was no response. Seriously, Yi Zichen clenched his fist. At that moment, Lu Jing also walked in. How is it? Mission completed, right? Yes, Yi Zichen stretched lazily. Dieting's position is safe, right? We can't let him get into danger. We already let him down by stealing his leg. Don't worry, it's definitely safe. Then that's good. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh, then stretched lazily. I'm a bit tired, so I'm going to rest. You're not leaving directly. How could we leave? If we leave now, then the crime of stealing the leg will definitely be placed on us. Let's wait here and see what happens tomorrow. All right. The night passed silently. The next morning, Yi Zichen, who was still in dreamland, suddenly heard a commotion outside his window. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then pushed open the window and looked down. He saw a dense mass of ghost servants going from house to house to investigate. It seems like Dieting has already woken up and knows that he lost his Qilin leg. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then stood up from the bed. After a simple wash, he walked out of the room with Lu Jing. It was fortunate that he had given the little beggar to Ciele to take care of. Otherwise, the little beggar might have seen him stealing the leg yesterday. Although he wasn't sure if the little beggar would say it, it would still be a problem. Stop! Just as Yi Zichen and Lu Jing were about to leave the estate, several ghost servants suddenly stopped them. What happened? Someone stole Lord Dieting's leg. The entire underworld needs to be investigated. You? Raise your hand. The ghost servant replied forcefully. Yi Zichen raised his hand for the ghost servant to check without thinking too much. All right, you can go now. Since he couldn't find the Qilin foot, the ghost messenger didn't bother with him. He walked right past him and continued to investigate the houses one by one. From the looks of it, this problem had blown up. He never expected that Truth Listener's loss of its leg would cause such a huge incident. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Palace. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva narrowed his eyes and reprimanded Truth Listener. If he hadn't been drunk, he wouldn't have lost the Qilin leg. The 10 Yama Kings also stood below the hall, swallowing their saliva, not daring to interrupt. Dieting, do you know your crimes? The Harken knows its wrongs. Truth Listener floated in midair. At that moment its 4 legs were empty. It drooped its head with an aggrieved expression. He had clearly paid attention to the amount of alcohol he drank yesterday, but he didn't know why he got drunk on the way back. Humph, if you can get your Qilin feet back, then it'll be great. If you can't, then you'll have to waste 1,000 years of cultivation and grow them back. That's how you lost your leg back then. Why don't you learn from it? Ksitigarbha sighed helplessly. At that moment, Yi Zichen and Lu Jing also walked in. What happened? I heard that Dieting lost his leg? Brat, were you the one who stole my leg last night? Dieting tilted his head and looked over. Yi Zichen instantly put on a confused expression. Are you kidding me? I slept soundly after you left. How could I have the time to steal your leg? How did you lose your leg? Did someone saw it off? Haha, I knew it wasn't you, Dieting suddenly laughed. I'm telling you, my leg will fall off by itself when I drink too much. I might have drunk too much last night, so my leg fell off by itself. I don't know who picked it up. Are you an assembled auspicious beast? It even fell off by itself? Yi Zichen put on a speechless expression. At that moment, Ksitigarbha spoke up. What did you come here for? Although you are an esteemed guest of the underworld, there are some places that you can't enter as you please. This Ksitigarbha sure has a bad temper. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then indicated towards King Chu Jiang and company. I came to find them. Master, What business do you have with me? King Chujiang quickly bowed. Actually, everyone in the hall knew very well that Yi Zichen was the #1 suspect for stealing the leg. However, after he entered the hall, they all carefully checked him, and did not find the Qilin leg on him. If they did, then they would not be able to beat the ancestor beside him. Since Lord Diding and King Xidigarba did not say anything, then they naturally did not dare to say anything. There are still plenty of things waiting for me to deal with in the modern realm, and I've pretty much met all of my old friends in the underworld. About this, King Chujiang subconsciously looked towards Xidigarba. When he saw Xidigarba's affirmative gaze, he nodded with a smile. No problem. Zoom. A huge spatial crack appeared in the palace, and King Chujiang spoke at this moment. King Chujiang also spoke up. It might be noon in the modern realm right now. The place I opened for you is rather desolate. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Come and play when you have time. Both of them disappeared from the spatial crack. King Xidigarba shook his head with a sigh. Tell them to come back. We can't find the Qilin leg. Diding. Go back and grow it again. Bodhisattva, your words. I didn't say that the Qilin leg is on that young man. It's just that the underworld is a sea of ghosts. Without a clear location or target, finding it is like finding a needle in a haystack. That's it. Yi Zichen left the throne indifferently. King Chujiang and company looked at each other, then took out their phones to send a message in the group. Retreat. Whoosh. A huge spatial crack appeared in front of a desolate grassland, then Yi Zichen and Lu Jing walked out from it. We're finally back. But where is this place? King Chujiang definitely wouldn't throw him too far away, but even Yi Zichen, who was born and raised in Bingqing, didn't know where he was. Zoom. At this moment, Lu Jing, who had just walked out of the crack, was suddenly surrounded by a 7-colored light. The light shot into the sky, and her entire body seemed to lose consciousness as she slowly rose into the sky. Lu Jing. Yi Zichen raised his hand in an attempt to grab her, but the light completely ignored him. Lu Jing. Yi Zichen panicked when he saw that Lu Jing had already flown 10-odd meters into the air. He immediately sprouted a pair of wings on his back, then followed beside her and called out her name. What's going on? Chapter 396. 6 Realms Patroller. Could it be that I really have to ascend to the 3 realms after becoming a sky immortal? Yi Zichen knitted his eyebrows tightly. His initial fear gradually turned into calmness. Then, he followed Lu Jing and flew up the rainbow pillar of light in a daze. What? A delicate rebuke sounded out from Lu Jing's mouth as she opened her eyes within the pillar of light. Bang! The pillar of light instantly shattered, while Lu Jing's white boots tapped the air. Seeing that, Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned. Why did you come out? Aren't you going to ascend? Of course not. Lu Jing frowned angrily, then looked up at the sky. Who exactly are you? Who are you? Hurry up and come out. You actually created a dream for me. I think you're tired of living. Hurry up and apologize to this lady, or else I'll hit you. Someone's controlling it? Yi Zichen also paid close attention and looked around. At that moment, a man in a police uniform appeared in the sky. He had a mirror on his right eye while he smiled. Not bad, you truly are a good seedling. Zoom. In the blink of an eye, the man arrived in front of Yi Zichen and Lu Jing, then squinted his eyes at them with a smile. I'm very honored to inform you that your talent allows you to enter my plane. Now, come with me. Are you sick? Lu Jing snorted with a frown like an angry lion cub. What do you mean enter your plane? Hurry up and *ck off. I'm getting annoyed. Hee. Are you rejecting me? The man's smile suddenly turned cold. Let me introduce myself. I am 6 Realms Patroller Yum. I have been searching for seeds with high talent. You have reached the mark. I'm informing you to come with me. 6 Realms Patroller. Yi Zichen frowned. What the hell is that? I've never heard of it before. Yumu also glanced at Yi Zichen. When he saw the wings on his back, demon, Yi Zichen's pitch-black eyes instantly turned cold, while a cold smile appeared on his face. Slay demons and protect the Tao, die. Slap. Just as the man reached his hand towards Yi Zichen's chest, Lu Jing suddenly grabbed him. I'll get angry if you bully Yi Zichen. You want to stop me? Haha, you're still a little too immature. Deep Dream narrowed his eyes and smiled. Lu Jing's hand involuntarily loosened his arm, and her whole body was bound and could not move at all. Demon, you actually dared to appear in my surveillance range. Consider yourself unlucky. Yumu's right hand suddenly turned into a sharp claw and swiped towards Yi Zichen's head. However, just as it was about to pierce through his head, I see. I understand now. With that, he forcefully lifted Yi Zichen by the collar, and pressed his fingers against Yi Zichen's throat as he smiled coldly at Lu Jing. Stop struggling. A perfected heavenly immortal might be very strong in the 6 realms, but in front of me, you're nothing but chickens and dogs. I don't want to destroy your talent, so I'll give you a choice now. Either you come with me or you watch him die, and I'll take you away by force. No. Lu Jing shook her head. Only then did Yumu smile in satisfaction and let go of Yi Zichen. Brat, your woman saved your life. Yumu patted Yi Zichen's shoulders, then returned in front of Lu Jing and released her. Can you give me some time? A sad smile flashed across Lu Jing's face. Yumu nodded noncommittally and said, You're right. Yumu nodded, sure. Lu Jing forcefully pursed her lips, then walked in front of Yi Zichen with heavy steps. At that moment, she was no longer as lively and mischievous as before. Her eyes were filled with longing for Yi Zichen as she slid her fingers across his cheek. I thought that I could stay by your side forever after I revived. I thought that I had such great strength that I could help you share your burden, so that you wouldn't have to frown all the time. I thought that I could stand by your side forever. When you're tired, I'll tell you. Lean on me. Everything is so close, yet so far. Lu Jing's lips trembled. Yi Zichen clenched his fist tightly when he saw the tears in her eyes. Die. Yi Zichen gathered all of his celestial spiritual energy into his fist and punched towards Yumu's back. Sneak attack. A cold smile surfaced on Yi Zichen's face. He pointed. Bang. Yi Zichen immediately fell towards the ground like a broken kite. Lu Jing hurriedly caught him and shook her head. What are you doing? What are you doing? I won't let you go. Trust me. Yi Zichen's breathing instantly turned heavy, while his skin gradually turned a bronze color. Yumu, who stood in the air, frowned. I don't like the aura of demons. Dong. She flicked her finger onto Yi Zichen's shoulder, instantly causing a bloody hole to appear. I won't let you go. Yi Zichen ignored his injuries and reached out with his right hand, Yuan. A green pearl instantly shot through the air. Yi Zichen also smiled coldly. Water blade, zoom. Zoom. All of the water vapor in the air rapidly gathered towards Yi Zichen, causing several hundred water blades to appear around him. Go! The water blades flew towards Yumu. Yi Zichen did not stay idle either. He immediately followed them and flew towards Yumu. Ridiculous! A mirror instantly appeared in front of Yumu, causing all of the water blades in front of him to be deflected. Heh! Seeing that, another 100 water blades immediately appeared around Yi Zichen and blocked the water blade. However, Yumu had already arrived in front of him, too weak. Dong! Yumu stomped on Yi Zichen's chest and pressed him onto the ground. Brat, your actions can't be called courage. It can only be called ignorance. Yumu left Yi Zichen's body with a cold smile. Yi Zichen left Yi Zichen's body with a cold smile. He walked in front of Lu Jing, who was in tears, and grabbed her shoulders. All right, I've already given you enough time, but he didn't cherish it. Sorry. Lu Jing. Yi Zichen. Lu Jing struggled out of Yumu's grasp and ran towards Yi Zichen. The two of them hugged each other tightly, but Yumu appeared once again. I don't have time for you two. Come with me. Yi Zichen forcefully separated the two of them, but they continued to hold each other's hands tightly. Gradually, they are let go. Yi Zichen. Lu Jing, who slowly flew into the sky, continuously called out Yi Zichen's name, while her tears fell onto the ground like the most crystalline gems in the world. Yi Zichen, I like you. I really like you so much. Lu Jing. Yi Zichen wanted to use his wings to catch up, but they were already broken during the battle. Chapter 397. No elemental. The sky was still blue. The rainbow-colored light disappeared, and so did the pretty girl. A breeze brushed past Yi Zichen's face like a pair of warm hands. However, all Yi Zichen could do was sit limply on the ground and stare at the sky. Kid, you met the robbers, right? Yi Zichen sat on a civilian four-wheeled car. It was as if he had lost his soul. No matter what the old man said, he just stared at the sky without moving. AI. What a scourge. The old man who was driving the car shook his head with a sigh, but did not say anything else. Yi Zichen stumbled back to the mansion. When Mother Yi, Xiao Yumei and company saw him like that, they all ran over nervously. Zichen. I'm fine. Do what you guys do. I'm a bit tired. Yi Zichen shook off everyone's hands, then returned to his room and locked himself in. He squatted in the corner as he replayed the scene from earlier. 6 Realms Patroller Creek. Yi Zichen clenched his fist tightly as he thought about his helplessness, and the tears in Lu Jing's eyes when she left. Strength? In this world, the one with the bigger fist is the boss. I am still too weak. Yi Zichen muttered softly, then took off his blood-stained clothes indifferently. It's rather funny. I attacked with all my might, but I didn't even touch Yumu's hair. Instead, I ended up like this. Yi Zichen laid limply on the bed and habitually looked towards his left. In the past, Lu Jing would always lie there and shake her feet, argue with him, snatch his phone, and read books at night in secret. They were all gone. Whoosh. Just as Yi Zichen reminisced, the scene in front of him suddenly changed. When he came back to his senses, he saw the huge dragon god coiled on the ground, and stared at him with his ancient eyes. Kid, the fluctuation of your spiritual energy is very intense. If this continues, then you will die. The dragon god squinted his eyes with a smile. The dragon god squinted his eyes and smiled. In response, Yi Zichen merely smiled miserably. He didn't take it too seriously. Ziz. What kind of trouble did you encounter? How strong do you think I have to be in order to protect the people I want to protect? Yi Zichen sat on the ground and asked. The dragon god suddenly smiled wryly. There's no such thing. You can only make yourself stronger and stronger. If you want to protect them, you have to keep moving forward and looking forward. Is that so? Yi Zichen subconsciously looked at his hand. False Earth Immortal. In fact, if he was an ordinary person, he would already be ridiculously strong, comparable to a superpower user. But in front of the demons, it was still a joke. And that 6 Realms Patroller, he was an immortal king. Kid, you have to be more open-minded about everything. An expert must have the heart of an expert. You can feel pain, but you can't show it. When a lion is injured in a fight, it will only secretly lick its wounds. However, when it appears in front of other beasts, it will still be the highest king. Do you understand? The dragon god squinted his eyes. Yi Zichen nodded, then smiled. Yes, I understand. Just now I was too weak. But I'm just a mortal, and the increase in strength is simply random. Old senior, do you want to give me some pointers? Hee hee, you little brat, I pulled you in out of goodwill to comfort you, and you actually have ideas about me? The dragon god shook his head with a wry smile. However, he was rather happy that the little fellow was able to cheer up. Hee hee, there's no helping it, I only have you as my senior. I don't say anything when you steal my spiritual energy every day. How about you give me some secret scriptures as rent? Yi Zichen chuckled, while silently cursing himself for being an idiot in his heart. I actually don't know how to use such a huge treasure. If I went to find the dragon god earlier, Then I wouldn't be so weak right now. You little brat. The dragon god shook his head, then transformed into a white-haired elder. Come here, let me see your attribute. Ah! Yizichin was a bit confused. However, the dragon god rolled his eyes in annoyance. I'm telling you, humans are born with 5 attributes. Choosing the one that suits you will greatly increase the compatibility between you and your spiritual technique, and also show you the power of the spiritual technique. But ever since the Great War of Gods and Demons, it seems like the method of detecting attributes has disappeared. They also randomly use techniques in technique AI. But if someone is lucky and gets it right, then they will become very strong. Oh. Yizichin didn't know anything about these things, so he didn't care how the dragon god made it sound. It should be pretty amazing. The dragon god tapped the center of Yizichin's eyebrows, causing a clear stream of energy to flow through his meridians. Not long later, the dragon god removed his hand from Yizichin's eyebrows. How is it? The dragon god's gaze turned even weirder. Yizichin also asked worriedly. What is it? Tell me. Brat, how did you cultivate to the false earth immortal level? The dragon god's eyes were filled with incomprehensible shock. You were born with no attributes, so logically speaking, you shouldn't be able to absorb spiritual energy. How did you cultivate to the false earth immortal level? What's more, I feel like you cultivate rather quickly. Yizichin was stunned, then blinked. So you're saying that I'm a cripple? The dragon god nodded. You can understand it that way. Spiritual energy of heaven and earth is based on attribute. You absorb spiritual energy of whatever attribute you have. Since you don't have an attribute, then you can't absorb it, but you cultivate so quickly. Perhaps I have all 5 attributes. Isn't that how it's written in novels? Since I can't detect all 5 attributes, I detect no attribute. I'm just a piece of trash. However, I cultivate extremely quickly. Slap slap. In the end, I found out that I have all 5 attributes, and learned all sorts of techniques without a teacher, so I instantly reached a climax. Yizichin smiled faintly. Actually, he was just joking. He didn't doubt that the dragon god's detection was wrong. As for why he could level up so quickly, the immortal heart of pure yang. To his surprise, the dragon god nodded noncommittally, as if he approved of Yizichin's reasoning. It's very possible. I've never seen anyone with all 5 attributes, nor have I seen anyone with no attributes. Although I don't know what you're talking about in novels, what you said just now is very possible. Ugh! Yizichin was instantly stunned. This old dragon god is too unreliable. I was just randomly saying it, and he actually approved of it. I don't have any secret scriptures that can be cultivated by those with no attributes, but those with no attributes might be able to cultivate secret scriptures of all attribute. How about this? I'll give you one of each metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Go and try cultivating it. Whoosh! 5 secret scriptures instantly appeared in front of Yizichin. Yizichin's eyes instantly lit up when he saw them. I've finally seen a secret scripture that I can cultivate after being in the circle for so long. Chapter 398. Genius Brat, I can now confirm that you really have no attribute, not 5 attributes like you said. The old dragon god squinted his eyes. At that moment, Yizichin was already sitting on the ground without any anger. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, well, there was no progress at all. According to the old dragon god, after such a long time, even a pig might be able to find some way to learn it, not to mention that this was only the lowest level of secret technique, and the dragon god was personally guiding it. Alright, so be it. What do you think I should do now? Yizichin shrugged helplessly. In this situation, it seems like you can use some auxiliary secret manuals and some body tempering secret manuals. However, our dragon clan's body tempering secret manuals cannot be casually taught to outsiders. Look at what you're saying, how can you treat me as an outsider? Yizichin rolled his eyes at the old dragon god. No matter what, you are my master now. A master for a day is a father for life. That means you are now my godfather. If you're my godfather, then I'm a cousin of the Dragon Clan, then I'm a member of the Dragon Clan. The old dragon god was completely speechless by Yi Zichen's twisted words. If that's the case, then I have to give you the dragon race's secret body tempering scripture. Heh. That depends on how you want to treat your godson. Forget it, this old dragon also finds you pleasing to the eye, there's no harm in letting you practice. However, if you fail, don't blame this old dragon for erasing your memory. Alright. No problem. Whoosh. A golden secret scripture that was clearly of high quality flew in front of Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen raised his hand to grab it, but the old dragon god stopped him. Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you see too much, you won't be able to handle it. You can start from the most basic dragon soul. Let me see the result. Alright. Yi Zichen opened the secret scripture with a chuckle. The moment he did so, he felt like the words on it were like dragons staring at him. As expected, this secret manual was not ordinary, Yi Zichen muttered to himself, then continued reading. However, when he reached the second word, he was unable to read any further. Focus your heart and spirit, discard all distracting thoughts. If you can't look anymore, then don't look anymore. Settle your heart. All right. Yi Zichen nodded, then cast aside all distracting thoughts. At this moment, he had already become one with the book. In his world, there was only the words in the book. Even his own body was gradually being abandoned. Gradually, the speed at which he read the book became faster and faster. There was no longer any sign of him being unable to finish the book. In the blink of an eye, he had already read half of the dragon soul. The old dragon god, who was watching from the side, was completely dumbfounded. Even during the dragon race's golden age, the most outstanding genius of the clan could not match up to Yi Zichen's level. A faint dragon silhouette appeared around Yi Zichen's body, then disappeared into his skin. The old dragon god was completely stunned, absorbing and digesting at the same time? How was this possible? Genius. An absolute genius. At that moment, he had already discarded the shock in his heart. All he wanted to do now was to see just how far Yi Zichen could go. He wanted to see if Yi Zichen could directly finish reading the contents of the dragon soul and absorb and refine it. Pooh! Yi Zichen suddenly spat out a mouthful of golden blood. The dragon god quickly patted his back and closed the secret scripture. What? You can't take it anymore? I really can't. The contents of the dragon soul give me too much pressure. I feel like I might be able to take a few more glances when I reach the Earth Immortal level, but I definitely can't now. Yi Zichen waved his hand helplessly. The old dragon god's eyes instantly widened. You said you saw the dragon soul? Yeah, I don't say. Your secret scripture is truly amazing. I feel like I'm much more spirited now, and my body is filled with power. Yi Zichen swung his fist, causing the sound of the air being torn apart to cause the others to raise their eyebrows. The old dragon god looked at him in shock, then his gaze landed upon the golden blood. Oh yeah. Only those who reach the first level of the dragon soul can undergo a blood exchange. He had golden blood right off the bat. Is he messing with the dragon race? If the dragon race had such an amazing person back then they wouldn't have been wiped out. Seriously. It's clearly the secret scripture of the dragon race, but a human actually managed to cultivate it so successfully. Old dragon god. The dragon god turned around, then patted Yi Zichen's shoulder. Alright, let's end today's cultivation here. I'll pull you in tomorrow night to read the dragon soul again. You might gain a new understanding of it. No problem. It was already close to midnight when Yi Zichen left the dragon god's dimension. When he opened his eyes, he saw Xiao Yumei resting beside his bed. Yi Zichen gently lifted up the blanket, but Xiao Yumei was still woken up by it. Zichen, you're awake. Xiao Yumei rubbed her reddened eyes, which were filled with surprise and joy. Sorry for making you worry. There was no need to think about it. Xiao Yumei was definitely worried about his return during the day, which was why she asked Mother Yi for the key to come in and take care of him. The dragon god was right. Even if I'm injured, I have to lick my wounds in secret. Otherwise, I won't always make the people around me worry. It seems like the lion wasn't the king of the beast race for nothing. He was so mighty outside, but he still held his head high after returning. A true man. What are you apologizing for? You should be hungry after sleeping for so long, right? How about I make you something to eat? Mom just went to sleep. I feel like we shouldn't disturb her. No, just when Yi Zichen wanted to say that he wasn't hungry, his stomach started to grumble. Xiao Yumei pursed her lips with a smile, then pecked Yi Zichen on the lips. Wait for me. I'll immediately make something delicious for you. Then, she turned around and left the bedroom. Not long after she left, the door to the room suddenly opened. Lil White crawled in through the crack of the door and jumped onto Yi Zichen's bed. Boss. Hey little fellow, are you worried about me? Yi Zichen smiled. Lil White nodded, but his expression turned solemn. Boss, I do want you to rest well, but I feel like you'll get angry if I don't tell you. What is it? Say it, there's demonic energy nearby. Hearing that, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. However, before he could speak, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID was Xia Kiki. Yi Zichen put the phone beside his ear, and heard the screams of several girls. Chapter 399. Otherworld, Master. Yi Zichen has already rushed over to the scene of the incident. Song and smiled sinisterly within the room. In the room, Song and smiled sinisterly. The man sitting on the sofa nodded noncommittally. Just treat it as a gift to him. How strong are the fellows inside? They are all normal people who have just demonized. Their strength is only at the spiritual body level. They won't pose any threat to Yi Zichen at all. Guojing was wearing a light muslin top. Song and couldn't help but gulp when he saw her faintly discernible figure. You like it? The man on the sofa smiled. Song and instantly shook his head. No, no. Don't be nervous, help me properly. I'll give her to you. The man said that in front of Guojing without any hesitation. Guojing merely blanked out for a moment, but didn't dare to retort at all. Buzz, at that moment, her phone on the tea table rang. She looked at the message, then turned around to look at the man on the sofa. That guy called me. He might be asking me out. Then go out with him. Your mission is to keep him company. Slowly seep into him, then give Yi Zichen a huge gift. All right. Guojing nodded, then left the living room. Song An's gaze remained on her alluring figure the entire time. All right, stop looking. I said that I'll give her to you, but she's still my plaything right now. Hurry up and take a look. Where is Yi Zichen now? Song An instantly shrunk his neck and shifted his gaze away, then raised his eyebrows. He's already here. Lil White, it's here, right? Yi Zichen parked his Panamera on the side of the road. However, when he got out, he noticed that there was nothing abnormal, and he didn't see Xia Kiki and company inside. With that, Yi Zichen wanted to walk into the alley, but Lil White bit the leg of his pants. What now? Yi Zichen asked in confusion. He could feel just how dangerous Xia Kiki and company were through the phone, so he had to hurry up. Not that inside, it's that inside. Lil White suddenly said something strange, causing Yi Zichen to be completely confused. What nonsense are you talking about? Little White was so anxious that it kept spinning on the spot. It didn't know how to explain it either. Ding dong. At that moment, Yi Zichen's phone rang. He took out his phone and saw a system notification. You have obtained Otherworld Pass X1. The holder of this pass is qualified to travel to the Otherworld. He opened the WeChat treasure chest suspiciously. The moment he took out the pass, he saw the pass suddenly emit a blinding light. When he came back to his senses, he found himself in another world. This is it. Lil White also jumped up at that moment. Yi Zichen nodded, then his gaze turned vigilant. Looking left and right, it was still the same street as before. However, this street had become extremely dilapidated, and dense demonic aura filled the air above the street. Rumble. Suddenly, Yi Zichen heard a loud noise. Over there. He quickly ran toward Xing Yuan, and when he arrived at the scene, what the hell is this? The middle of the street was crawling with monsters covered in slime. Behind them were two humanoid creatures that were about a meter tall. Every time they breathed, the demonic aura would increase. Roar. A huge dragon roar sounded out from the corner. Not long later, a golden dragon silhouette passed through the monsters. When the golden dragon silhouette disappeared, all of the slime monsters on the ground also turned into demonic aura and disappeared from the street. However, there were truly too many slime monsters. Even though the silhouette was very threatening, it was still unable to stop them from advancing. Kiki. Yi Zichen's pupils contracted. It was Xia Kiki and Su Yan who stood in the corner. Break. Yi Zichen roared, then swung his fist towards the group of monsters with the force of the wind. At the same time, a ball of fire appeared in Lil White's mouth. Suddenly, a red wave appeared in front of him and burned an entire patch of slime monsters into ashes. Lil White, nicely done. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. It seems like Lil White evolved again. Yuan. Soul Pearly Yuan, which had been resting on the center of his eyebrows, came out. Before Yi Zichen could give the order, it automatically released a water screen that enveloped Xia Kiki and Su Yan. Water blades, several hundred water blades, suddenly appeared in the air. The blades flickered with a terrifying cold light, instantly dispersing all of the slime monsters on the street. Yi Zichen. Xia Kiki's face was filled with unconcealable terror. When he walked over, she immediately leaped onto him. Su Yan had wanted to do the same, but when she saw Xia Kiki, who was beside Yi Zichen, she merely smiled wryly, bit her lips, and stood trembling on the spot. What's going on? Why did you guys come here? Yi Zichen did not have the time to think so much. He stared closely at the area outside the water screen. The slime monsters had already covered the entire street, while the two 10-meter-tall figures slowly walked towards them. I don't know. Xia Kiki's voice was already filled with sobs. She trembled as she clenched her teeth. We just came back from eating together. But when we got here, it suddenly became like this. Yi Zichen let out a sigh of relief, then patted their shoulders. Boss. Lil White, who was beside him, suddenly roared. When he turned around, he saw that the slime monsters had already bitten open a hole in the water screen. Don't let their slime touch you, it's corrosive, Su Yan suddenly said. Only then did Yi Zichen notice the bright red mark on her arm. Are you all right? Yi Zichen raised his hand and grabbed her arm. Su Yan shook her head with a smile. I'm fine. Kiki already helped me deal with it. It shouldn't leave any scars. Yi Zichen nodded, then turned around and kicked the slime monster, which had already crawled out. Kiki, protect Su Yan properly. Seriously, these monsters are endless. Zoom. A golden light suddenly flashed on Yi Zichen's body, while the faint image of a dragon appeared behind him. Dragon? Xia Kiki raised her eyebrows in shock. All of you die. Yi Zichen's fist shone with a golden light. However, at that very moment, all the slime monsters on the street suddenly disappeared. Even the two 10-meter-tall monsters collapsed to the ground. A purple-haired, dark-skinned boy appeared at the end of the street. He tilted his head and raised his eyebrows as he looked at the disappearing monsters. Chapter 400. Demon Emperor. The sudden appearance of the man immediately caught Yi Zichen's attention. From his appearance, demon. Human. The purple-haired man tilted his head and walked over. When he got closer, Yi Zichen noticed that the man was wearing a gray shirt and long black pants. He also had an earring on his ear. The button in front of his chest was unbuttoned, and there was also a lotus-like tattoo on his chest. What caught Yi Zichen's attention was that the tattoo seemed to be a way for him to absorb demonic energy, because all of the surrounding demonic energy was entering the tattoo. Demon? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. The demon scratched his head and shrugged with a smile. It seems like you're the strongest among you guys. Those guys couldn't even play with me just now. How about you play with me for a bit? Boss, this is one of the two stronger ones that I detected. Lil White jumped onto Yi Zichen's shoulder. Hearing that, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Doesn't that mean that this 17 or 18-year-old kid actually has the strength of a sky immortal? Hey, I'm talking to you. Are you going to play with me or not? I'll give you a choice. Either you all die here or you play with me for a bit. What's your choice? There's no helping it. I have no other choice in this situation. Yi Zichen put Lil White down onto the ground, then walked out of the water curtain with a smile. Roar? Have you chosen? I thought I would give you some time to think about it. The purple-haired young man smiled, then hooked his finger. Come here. Which demon family are you from? Yi Zichen took 2 steps forward. When he was about 10 meters away from the young man, he stopped and raised his eyebrows. You have to at least let me know your name. After you kill him, I might give you a few rees. Roar. The purple-haired young man laughed. Kill me? Interesting. You can call me Demon Emperor, the demon from the demon race, the emperor from the emperor. All right, I'll burn some joss paper for you after you die, Demon Emperor. Dong. The ground instantly cracked, while golden energy continuously flowed out from Yi Zichen's body. That state was a bit like Super Saiyan transformation. Xia Kiki, who was standing behind the water curtain, was completely stunned. This familiar aura was the aura of their dragon race. Why did he know how to use it? Su Yan's eyes twitched uncontrollably. Everything that had just happened could no longer be explained by science. Haha. Not bad. The Demon Emperor's purple eyes shone with excitement. At that moment, he was completely defenseless and merely focused on how much Yi Zichen could increase his aura. At that moment, Yi Zichen's pupils constricted. Of course, he could sense that the Demon Emperor had no defense at all. Although a sneak attack might be a little unfair, he had no other choice. Bang! His fist landed heavily on the Demon Emperor's chest where the blood lotus was. In an instant, the Demon Emperor's eyes suddenly bulged out, and he spat out some acid from his mouth. He was sent flying backwards before finally crashing into the wall on the side of the street. Rumble. The rubble on the side of the street instantly buried him. Yi Zichen did not show any mercy and stomped down. Seriously, please spare me. Just as Yi Zichen rushed over to the rubble, the Demon Emperor, who was buried under the rubble, suddenly crawled out and tilted his head with an excited smile. I wondered how strong you would be. Are you still so weak? Oh no. Yi Zichen's pupils contracted. Just as he was about to dodge, several tens of boulders had already appeared around him. Bang bang bang. Hundreds of kilograms of boulders smashed towards Yi Zichen. Not long later, he was completely buried. Hey, cheer up. Do you think that I'm playing house with you? The Demon Emperor grabbed Yi Zichen's hair under the boulder, then pulled him out and threw him away. Yi Zichen coughed up a mouthful of golden blood. He licked his lips and wiped it away. Don't get too cocky, I was just joking with you. Flap. A pair of huge black wings spread open on his back. As they flapped, a raging wind blew, causing all of the boulders on the ground to be crushed into powder. Interesting, this is too interesting. The Demon Emperor clapped his hands excitedly, while Yi Zichen's pupils also gradually turned purple. Interesting, then I'll show you something even more interesting. Whoosh. An afterimage flashed past. After spreading his wings, his speed increased by nearly 100 times. Bang bang bang. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen actually gained the upper hand as he continuously punched and kicked Demon Emperor. All you have is speed, but no power. However, at that very moment, the Demon Emperor, who had been passively enduring Yi Zichen's attacks, suddenly reached out and grabbed Yi Zichen's collar, then pressed him onto the ground. I remember now. You are the fallen that they speak of, right? No, it should be the son of a saint and a demon. Yi Zichen, Xia Kiki and the others ran out of the water barrier. The demon emperor raised his hand and pushed towards them. Instantly, they were all bound on the spot, unable to move. I almost forgot that I came here to look for you. I heard that the son of a saint and a demon is very strong, and those old guys of the demon race all flock to him. Not bad, not bad. I used the idiom very correctly. But that's all there is to it. Bang. The demon emperor kicked Yi Zichen nearly 100 meters away. Then, he slowly flew up from the ground. I won't kill you. Those old guys of the demon race said that you will be very strong in the future, so you will definitely be very strong. I'll give you time to grow. I hope that you can let me enjoy the joy of fighting in the future. Bye-bye. Crack. The chains that bound Yi Zichen broke. Xia Kiki, Su Yen and Lil White all ran towards Yi Zichen. Golden blood flowed uncontrollably from the corner of Yi Zichen's mouth. Yi Zichen stood up from the ground with Xia Kiki's support and stared at the spot where the Demon Emperor left. 6th Street Patroller, Demon Emperor, Creek. All of them clenched their fists tightly. At that moment, 2 more people appeared in the space. Dad, what kind of shitty place is this? I want to play games, old way? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Wei Chen quickly ran over when he saw Yi Zichen. Are your injuries serious? Hee, it's alright. Yi Zichen smiled, then coughed up another mouthful of blood. TSK, TSK, TSK. How pitiful. To be beaten to such a state. Wei Ting pursed his lips in disdain. Wei Chen raised his hand and gave him a smack on the head. No one will treat you as a mute if you don't speak. Hit me again. Wei Ting pouted and walked to the side to draw circles. At the same time, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. What's wrong? How did you get in here? Chapter 401. Abyssal. Yi Zichen came out from inside. Song En squinted his eyes and smiled in a flattering manner. He came out? The man on the sofa had an indifferent smile on his face. Song En nodded noncommittally. It seems like he was seriously injured inside. Did someone help him out when he came out? Injured? The man on the sofa raised his eyebrows, then shook his head in shock. This guy shouldn't be that weak. This guy shouldn't be so weak. Could it be that I've overestimated him? Song En smiled coyly, but didn't dare to speak. Not long later, the man on the sofa raised his eyebrows with a smile. Demonize a few more people when you have time. Demonize a few more people when you have time. I have to confirm Yi Zichen's true strength. With a faint smile, the man stood up from the sofa and walked towards the 2nd floor, a feminine smile on his lips. Don't disappoint me. After Yi Zichen sent Su Yen back to the Su family, he and company arrived at the tea house. The members on the 3rd floor of the tea house were all cultivating. Wei Chen helped Yi Zichen to a room on the 3rd floor, then closed the door. You should be able to say it now, right? Yi Zichen sat on the chair with a pale face. Actually, he should have returned home to rest, but he was unable to rest peacefully after what he saw just now. The current situation is a bit troublesome. Wei Chen lit a cigarette for himself, then let out a puff of smoke. There should be people around us that can make people fall. When I left just now, I looked around. Although the demonic energy was very thick, it wasn't pure. But I was a bit late, so I didn't see what those guys looked like, so I couldn't confirm if I was right or not. However, the chance of them falling is above 70%. Abyssal. Yi Zichen tapped the table with his fingers, and thought back to the monsters he saw at that place. They were indeed different from the demons he had interacted with, and they were very weak. If he used his full strength, he should be able to deal with all the monsters very quickly, including the 2 10-meter-tall monsters. Then what was that space just now? Yi Zichen frowned. That is the modern realm's self-protection method. When it encounters an existence that is enough to threaten the order of the modern realm, it will automatically cut out a plane to protect itself. Wei Chen raised his eyebrows with a smile. Wei Chen raised his eyebrows and smiled. Of course, I'm not sure if someone is controlling it from behind. Twisting his shoulders, Wei Chen stood up from the chair with a smile. All in all, the situation here has become very troublesome. Since the abyssals have already appeared, there will be even more abyssals appearing in that plane in the future. It seems that I and this group of little guys won't be able to live comfortably. From now on, we'll deal with the abyssals in that plane. Boss Yi, hurry up and investigate the source of these abyssals. Wei Chen pursed his lips and smiled. I don't know why, but I feel like you'll be able to find something. Alright, leave it to me then. Yi Zichen nodded, then left with Lil, White and Xia Kiki. On the way back, Xia Kiki blinked her eyes and stared at him curiously. Why are you looking at me? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, causing Xia Kiki to pout. Could it be that I was imagining things just now? I keep feeling like there's a dragon on your body? You didn't see wrong, it was indeed a dragon. Yi Zichen smiled, then told her about what happened between him and the old dragon god. Hearing that, Xia Kiki immediately blinked with a smile. Hee, I want to learn as well. You haven't learned it before? This time, it was Yi Zichen's turn to be confused. Didn't the old dragon god say that it was a secret scripture of the dragon race? How could Xia Kiki not have learned it before? Only dragon god candidates can learn this secret scripture. I'm just a small fry, how could I have the chance? Xia Kiki pouted in annoyance. Yi Zichen nodded in understanding, then wait for next time. The old dragon god said that he would find a time for me to enter his place again. I'll talk to him when I go in again and get him to teach you as well. Sure. Xia Kiki clapped her hands with a giggle, then looked at the enchanting moon. It seems to be really late. How about we go and get a room? When Yi Zichen returned to the mansion, Xiao Yumei had already gone back to rest. He laid on the bed helplessly. This girl, Xia Kiki, was really going to get a room at the drop of a hat. Yi Zichen thought to himself, how could such a straightforward boy like me get a room with a random girl? Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile when he recalled Xia Kiki's expression when she was rejected. But very quickly, the image in his mind was shrouded by the scene just now. So tired. Ding dong. System notification. How does it feel to visit another world for the first time? F***CK. Yi Zichen was about to stomp his feet in anger. Just who the hell is this guy? He actually dared to ask him about his feelings. Could it be that he had to summarize his feelings with him? Are you F***king sick? Come out if you have the ability. Don't play these tricks behind my back. You were the one who gave me the ticket to another world, right? System notification, please calm down. If you hear any malicious attacks, the system will take back all your current achievements, including money in the modern world and the women around you. Alright, you're amazing. Yi Zichen smiled wryly at the phone, then placed it high above the head of the bed. Hero, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's too late. I want to sleep. Ding dong. Ding dong your grandma's leg. Yi Zichen directly switched his phone to silent mode, then covered himself with the blanket and pretended to sleep. However, the system notification continued to buzz incessantly. Are you done or not? Yi Zichen took his hand back, then opened his phone and saw system mission issued. Please give Diding's legs to Lil White within 10 minutes. Mission reward, none. Mission failure, you understand. Current remaining time, 3 minutes 17 seconds. You win. Yi Zichen grabbed his phone and ran downstairs without even putting on his slippers. At that moment, Lil White was sleeping in his nest. Yi Zichen reached out and grabbed him out, boss. Lil White looked at him sleepily. Yi Zichen placed him on the tea table, then took out 4 of Diding's legs from the treasure chest. Here. This. Lil White's eyes suddenly opened wide. He looked at Yi Zichen in shock. Where did you get them from? I stole them. Yi Zichen replied with a frown. When he looked at the system interface, time continued to pass. Current remaining time, 1 minute 21 seconds. I gave them all to him. Is there something wrong with you? You're still counting? Yi Zichen's eyes turned red. Ding dong. System notification. Lil White didn't accept them. Lil White, hurry up and put these legs away. Yi Zichen quickly handed Diding's legs over. However, what he didn't expect was Chapter 402. A system with bad taste. Ding dong. System notification. Current mission time remaining 60 seconds. The system notifications on Yi Zichen's phone continuously flashed. This time, it was as if the person controlling the phone's system was born with bad taste, as it would ring every second in the remaining 60 seconds. Yi Zichen felt like he was about to break down as the notifications continuously sounded out in the room. However, Lil White looked at him innocently and refused to accept the Qilin leg no matter what. This is Diding's leg. Lil White, wake up, okay? Yi Zichen grabbed Lil White's paw and played with the Qilin leg, but it struggled and shook its head. I know this is Diding's Qilin leg, but I can't take it. Lil White's tone was filled with determination and seriousness. Whitey's tone was filled with determination and seriousness. When its small eyes looked at the Qilin foot, one could feel its desire for it, but there was a wall in the depths of its eyes, a wall that rejected it. Why don't you want it? Lil White, you're trying to screw me over. Yi Zichen's forehead was covered in sweat. He looked at Lil White's determined gaze in confusion and smiled wryly. You have to at least give me a reason. Ding dong. System notification. Current mission time remaining 10 seconds. Ding dong. System notification. Current mission time remaining 9 seconds. The system notifications continuously rang out. Seeing that Lil White really refused, Yi Zichen didn't insist. Instead, he raised his eyebrows and looked at his phone. Instead, he raised his eyebrows and looked at the notification. Stop being so noisy. Lil White doesn't want it. You're screwing me over on purpose, right? Fine, 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 you win. Kill me. Yi Zichen straightened his neck and closed his eyes as he waited for the apocalypse to come. Die, he was definitely afraid. But what could he do? Lil White just didn't want the Qilin leg. He couldn't force Lil White to do anything for him, right? After a long time, a good half a minute passed, and the notification stopped ringing for a long time. However, it seems like it's still alive. Yi Zichen looked up at the top of the system notification. System notification. I was just joking with you. Why are you so serious? The Qilin leg has other uses. F***ck your grandma. Bang. Yi Zichen threw the phone away. As expected, the phone was completely undamaged when it landed on the ground, then flew back to the sofa beside Yi Zichen. System notification. This is the second time you've thrown him. Do you really think I won't do anything to you? How evil are you? Do you think this is funny? Yi Zichen's heart was in his throat. If he had a heart disease, then he might have directly passed out. But what did the system say? He was joking with him, and now he was threatening him. I don't know what you want, but you have to do as I say. You installed this broken system on my phone because you want me to do something, right? Negotiate. He narrowed his eyes, but no one expected that. System notification. Negotiation? What qualifications do you have to negotiate with me? Qualifications. I'm qualified to stand here. I should be the spokesperson you chose, right? You've never communicated with me so frequently before. It looks like I've already reached a certain level where you can arrange things for me? Yi Zichen smiled faintly. The system notification stunned him for a moment. System notification. You might be thinking too much. I only chose to nurture you because I'm rather interested in you. System notification. Also, you're not the only one who installed this system. Don't think too highly of yourself, little friend. Yi Zichen's face was already filled with indescribable shock. He had thought that it was because of his identity that caused so many problems, but now he's not the only one. Doesn't that mean that there's someone else in the modern realm who can communicate with the heavenly court and the underworld and snatch red packets like me? That person might be in the group? System notification. Very shocked? Ziziz, what a cute kid. Who exactly are you? Yizichin felt like he couldn't handle the pressure of the unknown anymore. Why is it that every time he's about to absorb everything, new things would appear? System notification. You will naturally know who I am in the future. Don't think too much. I can tell you that your progress is actually a bit faster than the other person's. System notification. You also have a higher intimacy level with the heavenly court and the underworld. Oh yeah, you have to earn more intimacy level with the deities in the heavenly court and the underworld. This will only be beneficial for you in the future. Cold. Yizichin merely looked at the system notification coldly. Is it interesting? System notification, hee. You really are a disobedient child. That person is much more obedient than you. However, it's a bit of a pity that you took the wrong path. Since that person is so obedient, then go and train him properly. Why did you have to nag me in the middle of the night? Is it fun? System notification. Alright, then I won't talk to you anymore. I'll just say one last thing. If you want to see that little girl with the Holy Spirit body again, then follow my main mission properly. Do you understand? It's you. Yizichin clenched his fist tightly. He stared at the screen as the fire in his heart burned. System notification. You're thinking too much. The Six Realms Patroller. I can't control him. He just took the girl away because he felt that she has talent. What I want to tell you is that if you follow my main mission, you will reach that place one day. Yizichin suddenly relaxed his clenched fist. System notification. How is it? Have you thought it through? Alright, then tell me what I should do. Yizichin bit his lips, then sat down on the sofa with a wry smile and looked at the system notification. System notification. Train Lil White properly. Also, work hard to earn cultivation experience in the heavenly court and buy all of the secret scriptures in the treasure shop. As for the rest, you don't seem to have spun the wheel of fortune from the mission reward last time. System notification. The exchange ends here. I look forward to you appearing in front of me, lucky child. The system notifications on his phone all disappeared. Yizichin twitched his mouth and smiled indifferently. Boss, who were you talking to just now? Lil White walked over carefully and rubbed its head with a smile. Boss, who were you talking to just now? It's talking to the phone. The phone is talking to me. Oh yeah, why did you say that you don't want the Chilan feet just now? Dieting seems to be a dog as well. Can't you use it? I can use it. Actually, I do want to use it. Lil White drooped its ears. But, if I use it, then I won't be able to become a beast god anymore. I'll be a divine beast at most. You don't look that big, but you're quite ambitious. Alright, just tell me if you need anything in the future. I must train you into a beast god. When you become amazing, then beat up whoever bullies me. No problem. Yizichin rubbed Lil White's head a few more times, then clicked on the Wheel of Fortune. Chapter 403. Zhu Yunhua, who had climbed up the tree. Yizichin hadn't played the Wheel of Fortune for a while. The main reason was that the chances of winning were too low. He spent several thousand cultivation experience to get a heavenly court cabbage. This was definitely a huge loss. Yizichin clicked on the Wheel of Fortune and saw a 1 mark in the center. Click. This spin will not consume cultivation experience. Confirm? Confirm. The wheel slowly spun, then the needle landed on a white piece of paper. You received Bull Demon King's love letter X1. Item has been stored in the treasure chest. Blink. Yizichin looked at the treasure he obtained in shock. Bull Demon King's love letter. Isn't that a love letter for a fox? It's already been so long, they still haven't stopped contacting each other? Boss, what are you doing? Lil White looked at the screen curiously. Yizichin patted his head, then shrugged with a smile. Lucky draw, but it's useless. Little White nodded lightly and suddenly let out a yawn. Yizichin shook his head with a smile when he saw that, then carried him to his little nest. Alright, I've troubled you for so long. Hurry up and sleep. Boss should sleep early too. Yizichin nodded and returned to his room. However, He couldn't fall asleep as he laid on the bed. His mind was truly too messed up. Thus the night passed. When Yi Zichen returned to the school dormitory, he saw that there were no classes for the entire month due to the school's reorganization. As expected, his roommates were all sitting in front of their computers and playing League. However, what was strange was that Zhu Yunhua, the youngest in the dormitory, wasn't with them. This brat had always been the most internet-addicted. He could even skip meals to play games. Yi Zichen found it rather strange that he wasn't here. "Yizi, you're back. Hurry up and come over to help us win a few rounds." The oldest, who sat closest to the door, waved at him. Yi Zichen looked at his screen. He lost. Yi Zichen nodded, then walked in front of his computer and raised his eyebrows. "Why isn't the youngest with you guys? Why isn't little bro with you guys? Without him, you guys will be lacking a main tank." Yi Zichen asked in confusion. Zhang Rui's face instantly scrunched up in disdain. This grandson is no longer single. He goes out with his girlfriend every single day. When he comes back, he reeks of love. Look at yourself. Why don't you find one too? Sour stink, you wouldn't say that if you found it. Yi Zichen smiled faintly. It was rather normal for someone in the dorm to be single, but it was definitely a huge blow to the 10,000-year-old single dogs in the dorm. Hee, I plan to spend the rest of my life with my gossip. Zhang Rui pushed his glasses up, then curled his lips and said, "Do you know who that brat is looking for? Don't blame me for saying it. You can ask big brother and second brother. What's wrong? It seems like there's a story behind it?" Yi Zichen looked towards Kong Peng and Bai Yu in confusion. The two of them raised their eyebrows, then shrugged. "That's right. Xiao Bo did change a little after falling in love. It's just that, he looks down on us. But it's normal. We'll definitely be white-collar workers after we graduate. Maybe I'll even have to go back and open a grain store with my parents. There's nothing much to say." Kong Ping shook his head with a faint smile. Zhang Rui suddenly snorted from the side. Does he think he can climb up the social ladder just because he found a rich second-generation heir? I think that girl is just playing with him. He's so stupid that he really thinks that she's treating him with sincerity. TSK. I heard from my sources that there's a man behind that woman. I told Zhu Yunhua about it last time, and guess what he said to me? He punched me. The corners of Zhang Rui's mouth were full of disdain, and his eyes were filled with mockery and faint anger. All right. Bai Yu frowned and patted Zhang Rui's shoulder. Everyone has their own ambitions. We're all in the same dorm, so we'll see each other all the time. Don't talk so much. From the looks of it, everyone in the dorm had a problem with Zhu Yunhua. However, Yi Zichen was completely confused by their words. And no. Who did Lil Brat find? Is it someone from our school? It's someone from our school. Bai Yu squinted his eyes. You should know her as well. She's the survivor from Yao Yu's dorm. She's called something Jing. Guo Jing, her family is in the skincare industry. She has 2 sons, and is also a little rich second-generation heir. Zhang Rui replied with a pout. Oh. Yi Zichen nodded in understanding. He did have some impression of the girl. How did they get together? Isn't it because of that murder case? Kong Peng stood up from the chair and swung his arms. That girl came to your dorm every day to find you, and said that she wants you to pay with your life. Us bros didn't want to disturb you, and Lil Bo often comforted her, so as time goes on. You get it? Yi Zichen blinked in confusion. He was the one who hooked her up? Could he have the potential to steal Yu Lao's job? In my opinion, that girl just needs to be comforted during this period of time. Never mind, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Zhang Rui let out a long sigh and shook his head, then created a ranked match room with a frown. Easy, are you online yet? Let's play a few rounds together. I'll go right now. Just as Yi Zichen sat in front of the chair and was about to log into the game, the door to the dorm was pushed open. Zhu Yunbo walked in wearing a set of expensive branded clothes, while holding several bags in his hands. Haha, I'm back, Zhu Yunbo laughed. When Zhang Rui saw him, he immediately pushed his keyboard back and walked out of the dorm. What is it, fourth bro? It was my fault last time, I'll apologize to you, Zhu Yunbo nodded with a smile. Zhu Yunbo chuckled and nodded. Shortly after, he took out something from the bag he was carrying and handed it over. A present. The bag seemed to contain Zhang Rui's favorite handheld game console. Zhang Rui merely smiled faintly in response, then took the bag and chucked it out of the window. I don't like it. Zhang Rui pushed Zhu Yunbo away forcefully, then left the dorm while ignoring the comforting words of the others in the dorm. Heh, you really don't want face, Zhu Yunbo snorted. Hearing that, the others in the dorm all frowned. Lil Bo, your words are a bit too much. Kong Ping walked in front of him with a frown. Zhu Yunbo was the one who was most afraid of him in the dorm before, but now, he merely twitched his mouth and snorted. What, you want to beat me up? Slap. Zhu Yunbo threw the bag onto the floor and shrugged mockingly. Sorry, I came with you guys this time to say goodbye. I'm sorry, I came with you this time to say goodbye. I wanted to have a farewell dinner with you. But it seems like there's no need for that. The things on the floor are the presents I gave you guys, the presents you guys wanted to buy but couldn't afford. F*CKU. Kong Peng punched Zhu Yunbo's face angrily. Baiyu tried to stop him, but how could the dorm's boss, who was a sports student, stop him? Slap. At that moment, a hand appeared on Kong Peng's shoulder. Yi Zichen walked over with a smile and shook his head. Chapter 404. One who causes the abnegation. His gaze swept across Zhu Yunbo's body. It was still that familiar face. That was a huge change. Yo, fifth brother is here too. Zhu Yunbo wiped the corner of his mouth with his hand, then squinted his eyes at Yi Zichen. What a rare guest, but sorry, I didn't bring fifth bro's present. Yi Zichen nodded, then patted his shoulder with a smile. Brat, you've grown up. Haha. Are you serious? Zhu Yunbo laughed heartily. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he shrugged and said, You're definitely thinking the same thing as them right now. You think I'm inhumane? The mocking smile on Kong Peng's face caused Yi Zichen's expression to stiffen. Kong Peng's tightly clenched fist had yet to loosen. Hearing Yi Zichen's words, Kong Peng raised his hand and was about to hit Yi Zichen. Forget it. Yi Zichen grabbed his arm and shook his head. Taking a step back, he pursed his lips and chuckled. You can go now. I wish you a bright future. With that, everyone left the dormitory. Before they left, Kong Peng even kicked the gift Zhu Yunbo brought with him. Take your broken toy away. We don't want it. He bent down to pick up the bag on the ground. At that moment, Guojing appeared outside their dormitory. There was a hint of curiosity on her pretty face as she wrapped her arm around Zhu Yunbo's shoulder. What took you so long? I've been waiting for you for half a day. Zhu Yunbo turned around and ran his fingers through Guojing's hair. It will naturally take longer to say goodbye to my roommate. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Kong Peng turned around without any hesitation. A long time after they left, Kong Peng suddenly smashed the photo frame near his computer desk onto the ground. In the frame was a group photo of the sixth roommate. In the photo, Zhu Yunbo was standing beside Kong Peng. Everything has F*King changed. Kong Peng was throwing a tantrum in the dormitory with red eyes. Baiyu took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth. Looking at the cracked photo frame on the floor, the atmosphere became silent. Yi Zichen didn't know what to say. Could money really make people change so much? That grandson has left. Just now when I was outside, that figure looked a little like him. Zhang Rui walked in from outside and saw the photo at Kong Peng's feet. Did they fight? In the future, don't mention him to me. I'll just pretend that he's dead. Kong Peng clenched his teeth, clenched his fists, and cursed angrily. He was the most sentimental person in the dormitory. Even after Zhu Yunbo had changed, he would still find excuses for him. But this time, he was really annoyed. Alright, there's no need to be so angry. It's all in the past now. Now that he had better financial conditions, wasn't it normal for him to move out? Don't Lao-san and I often don't go back to the dormitory? Yi Zichen couldn't help but ask, but Zhang Rui merely smiled and twitched his lips. How can he be the same as you? You and Lao-san are rich, but does it affect our relationship in the dormitory? I don't want to talk about Zhu Yunbua anymore. Zhang Rui stretched lazily, then jumped onto the bed. I'm tired. Have a good sleep. Laozi will wait for the day he returns to the dormitory crying. At the same time, in a sports car outside the school, Zhu Yunbua sat in the front passenger seat with a dark expression. Guojing, who had just put on her seatbelt, coincidentally saw the mark left by Kong Peng's punch on his face. How did you get your face like this? I got hit by someone, Zhu Yunbua snorted in disdain. Zhu Yunbua snorted disdainfully, then raised his eyebrows and said, He's about to graduate, but he still has that boorish temper. In this life, he can only run a grain shop with his parent. Guojing smiled. It seemed like the target he chose was pretty good. Now that he had a rift with his roommates, it seemed like she would be able to complete the mission that person gave her very soon. It was done by your roommates, right? Guojing moved her lips closer and licked the bruise with her pink tongue. The stimulation caused Zhu Yunbua's back to tremble. Don't pay attention to those people. Just let those annoying people fend for themselves. If you're really angry, I can help you get rid of them. Slap. Zhu Yunbua raised his hand and wrapped it around Guojing's neck. At that moment, Zhu Yunbua was no longer in the mood to listen to her. He had already been completely teased by this woman. Don't. There's someone. What are you afraid of? Who dares to say anything? The corners of Zhu Yunbua's mouth curled up. Guojing also reluctantly put down the chair and rolled up the car window. As expected, the two of them tangled together. However, Zhu Yunbua did not notice. At this moment, Guojing's eyes turned a faint purplish red. In her mouth, there was also a purple seed that she passed into his mouth. After staying in the dormitory for a while, Yi Zichen went to the tea house. Xiang Jie continued to work as a receptionist on the first floor with a smile. When Yi Zichen went to the third floor of the tea house, he saw Wei Chen wearing a black leather shirt and pants, while the other people in the room were busy packing up. What's going on? Abyssals have appeared. I'm bringing these little fellows into practice, Wei Chen smiled. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. I'll go with you guys as well. Boss Yi, have you forgotten what I told you at that time? Wei Chen's eyes suddenly narrowed. He immediately patted him on the shoulder and raised his eyebrows at the members of the organization on the third floor. Are you ready? Let's go. After following them down the stairs and watching them leave, Sister Xiang, who was sitting on the first floor, smiled. The Abyssals are appearing more and more frequently. This is the third time Manager Wei has led a team out. Really? Yi Zichen nodded, then frowned as he thought about the origin of the Abyssals. Currently, the number of Abyssals that have their true forms are still relatively few. Most of them are beasts. However, I feel like that fellow is already preparing to attack humans in large numbers. Xiang Jie wrinkled her nose and smiled. Hearing that, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Sister Xiang, are you, don't. Xiang Jie immediately raised her hand to stop Yi Zichen. I don't know anything, but I feel like you'll find that person very soon. Pay more attention to the people around you. At that moment, a few customers appeared outside the tea house. Yi Zichen nodded, then returned to the third floor. The people around me, Xiang Jie was pointing out that the person who could cause an abyssal was right beside me? Or if I think about it a little more, that person might be not far away from me. Where am I supposed to find him? Bingqing is huge, and I don't know the hidden family's art of invisibility that allows me to know everything about fate. Yi Zichen sighed silently. At that moment, he noticed that there was a bright red 1 on his social media app. He opened it. Chapter 405. Open side mission. Yi Zichen wasn't surprised at all when he saw the friend request. According to his understanding after entering the system, obtaining a mission item like Bull Demon King's love letter would definitely trigger a side mission. I accepted the friend request without hesitation and glanced at the intimacy level out of habit. 100 friendly. Little brother, nice to meet you. After the verification, the Bull Demon King sent a message to Kiran. According to Yi Zichen's deductions, his second sentence should be, ahem, it seems like you have a treasure of mine. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. As expected, the Bull Demon King was looking for him for that love letter. According to Yi Zichen's many years of gaming experience, this kind of side mission definitely had choices. For example, if he gave the love letter to the Bull Demon King, he would gain favor from the Bull Demon King, or if he gave the love letter to Princess Iron Fan. That would be fun. Is the Bull Demon King referring to that love letter? Yi Zichen replied with a faint smile. The person immediately replied, yes, yes, yes. Little bro, see if you can return that love letter to big bro. Also, he definitely had to pay it back. There was no point for Yi Zichen to keep it. He wasn't the kind of person who liked to collect strange things. But before that, he had to understand something. How did you know that the love letter was with me? How did you find me and add my social media account? Yi Zichen narrowed his eyes. He'd already been curious about Literati Star, but the Princess Iron Fan left him even more dumbfounded. He felt that there was definitely someone controlling this from behind the scenes. When I got up just now, an expert sent me a spiritual sense sound transmission, telling me to take the initiative to find you. To be honest, I'm also a little confused right now, but I don't think that expert has the time to lie to me. True enough. Yi Zichen subconsciously thought about the system, who chatted with him the night before. It might have been this brat who told the Bull Demon King to find him. Ding dong. System mission release, open. 1. Return the Bull Demon King's love letter to him. 2. Reject the Bull Demon King's request and give the love letter to Princess Iron Fan. 3. Threatening the jade-faced fox with a love letter. Please make your choice. The system was becoming more and more sophisticated. Needless to say, the 3 choices above would definitely lead to an earth-shattering change in the direction of the quest. If he gave the love letter to Princess Iron Fan, it would obviously destroy the relationship between husband and wife. The Bull Demon King would also become hostile to him, so it was not an option. As for the jade-faced fox, she was just a mistress. What was the point of threatening her? How could he ask her to come over and sleep with him? Obviously, there was no point in choosing this option. Yi Zichen thought about it for a moment, then clicked on option 1. Do you want to confirm? Confirm. Ding dong. The moment he confirmed it, Yi Zichen's phone uncontrollably sent the love letter over in the form of a red packet. Bull Demon King has received your red packet. Little brother, thank you very much. After receiving the red packet, the screen was filled with Bull Demon King's words of thanks. Yi Zichen didn't really care about that. What he cared about was, where's the red packet? She had already sent him the love letter, so she should at least give him a red packet. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with the Bull Demon King has increased by 100. Ding dong. Intimacy level increased. Current intimacy level, trusted. Ding dong. You received the Demon King's favorability. Reputation has increased by 100. It seems like these are the benefits of returning the love letter to the Bull Demon King? But isn't this too low? They are all useless. At least give me a more practical skill or something. If that doesn't work, then give me some cultivation experience. Little brother, if you have any problems in the future, just tell your big brother Bull. Big Brother Bull will definitely shed blood for you, even if I have to climb a mountain of swords or dive into a pot of boiling oil. Big Brother still has some other things to do, so I'll talk to you later. Zoom. The Bull Demon King's profile picture instantly darkened. This was a scam. With just a few sentences, the side quest was completed? Buzz, just as Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort, Su-yun called him. When Yi Zichen put the phone beside his ear, he heard Su-yun's clear laughter. After the short conversation, Yi Zichen turned around and left the tea house, then hurried towards the location Su-yun mentioned. At the Glory Hotel. When Yi Zichen arrived at the room Su-yun mentioned, he saw that it was filled with people when he pushed open the door. He practically didn't recognize anyone in the group. The only people he knew were Su-yen, Su-yun, and Li Min-yi, who he had met once. As for the others, what the hell? Yi Zichen didn't know why, but he felt extremely uncomfortable when he looked at them. Yeezy, you came way too late. Su-yun stood up from the chair and walked over. Yi Zichen subconsciously said softly, "What are you doing? I don't know any of these people." "Hey, actually, I don't know these guys either," Su-yun whispered into Yi Zichen's ear. "Today is Min-yi's birthday, and all of the people who came are her friends. Su-yen and I felt a bit awkward, so that's why we called you over. At least the three of us have something to talk about later." Oh, Yi Zichen nodded. At that moment Su-yun also clapped his hands with a laugh. "Everyone, quiet down. Let me make a grand introduction. Yi Zichen, my bro, the behind-the-scenes boss of Maintaining Beauty Corporation, and the absolute rich generation." However, what Yi Zichen didn't expect was that none of them showed any change in their emotions when they heard about Maintaining Beauty Corporation's boss. It was as if they didn't even know what Maintaining Beauty Corporation did. Su-yun's expression stiffened. Fortunately, Li Min-yi stood up to smooth things over. "Big Boss Yi, you're here. Please take a seat. My daughter's birthday banquet was able to invite you. It really makes me feel honored." Yi Zichen nodded, then sat down beside Su-yen. Only then did he notice the group of people at the table. There were a total of 11 people, male and female, young and old. It was very hard to imagine that a cute girl like Li Min-yi actually had such a wide social circle. What's more, Yi Zichen could feel a faint aura from them. Especially the woman with heavy makeup sitting opposite Yi Zichen. If it wasn't a hallucination, the woman seemed to be seducing him, and he couldn't help but stare at her. His heart gradually sank. Suddenly, he felt a pain in his waist. Yi Zichen turned around and saw Su-yen sitting calmly beside him. However, the hand she used to pinch him earlier was still on his waist. "Haha, you're jealous." Su-yen did not reply. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and whispered into her ear. "Let me tell you, I looked at that woman for so long just now, but I still can't find anything that's better than you." Chapter 406. Chapter 406. An awkward birthday banquet. The atmosphere at the dining table suddenly turned cold. Yi Zichen looked up at the woman with thick makeup, and noticed that everyone else at the table also looked towards him, and the faint playful smile on the woman's face. Could it be that I spoke really loudly, and she heard it? "What are you guys talking about?" Su-yun asked in confusion. Yi Zichen instantly squinted his eyes. In terms of position, Su-yun was actually closer to him. But even he didn't hear it, so how could the woman over there have heard it? Fiery eyes of truth, activate. Yi Zichen looked towards the woman with his faint golden eyes. All of a sudden, the elder beside her stood up and waved his right hand in front of him. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen noticed that a glass-like barrier appeared in front of him and the woman. "We came here to celebrate Min-yi's birthday. Everyone behave yourselves," the elder threatened. The woman with thick makeup, who sat opposite Yi Zichen, also nodded with a smile. "Yeah, I came for our Min-yi's birthday. Yeah, I'm here for Min-yi's birthday. I don't want to spoil it for someone." "What are you doing? We're all friends, so why are you speaking in such a weird tone?" Su-yun also stood up from his chair and snorted. "Don't bully my bro just because you guys have more people, alright? Behave yourselves. I think that you guys should be the ones who behave yourselves." Su-yun frowned, then swept his gaze over everyone's faces with a snort. "I don't want to argue with you guys because of Min-yi. For the sake of Min-yi, I don't want to argue with you, but if you want to make my brother uncomfortable, I won't let you be comfortable either. The atmosphere at the table became more and more awkward. The old man curled his lips in disdain and snorted. The elder twitched his mouth in disdain. Min-ee, your boyfriend's temper is pretty bad. He speaks like he's lecturing us. What, do we need him to lecture us? All of you, shut up. Lee Min-ee slammed the table and pointed at the woman with thick makeup. If it wasn't for you seducing someone's boyfriend, would all of this have happened? I didn't invite you guys to the birthday party. You guys just shamelessly insisted on coming. Can you stay or not? If you can't, then go back, alright? Alright, quiet down. The young man sitting in front of Lee Min-ee suddenly raised his hand. Immediately, everyone at the table sat down obediently. Min-ee, everyone came to celebrate your birthday to make you happy. There was no need to make it unpleasant, right? How about we stop here and give Big Brother some face? Lee Min-ee sat down on the chair with her mouth twitching, then lowered her head angrily without saying anything else. The young man also turned around and smiled apologetically towards Soo-yoon and Yi Zichin, then snapped his fingers. Serve the dishes. The birthday party this time was actually quite boring. The atmosphere at the dinner table was so depressing that even the candles on the cake were not blown out before the birthday party ended hastily. When everyone left, the woman with thick makeup intentionally walked in front of Yi Zichin and stuck out her tongue seductively. Humph, I think you're blind. I seem to be much stronger than this inexperienced little sister of yours. Oren. Lee Min-ee furrowed her brows and rebuked angrily. The woman immediately shrugged and raised her brows. All right, I won't say any more. Yi Zichin, Soo-yoon, and company stood at the entrance of the hotel as they watched the people leave in the black business car. Min-ee, what kind of friends are these? Soo-yoon furrowed his brows. His temper was about to explode at the dining table. Sorry, I got to know them when I was working during the summer. I don't know how they knew it was my birthday, but they all hurried over. Lee Min-ee's face was filled with pity and apology. Lee Min-ee's face was full of pity and apology. She walked up to Soo-yen and shook her hand. Soo, don't be sad. Hua Kuei just likes to tease men. I'll call her later and give her a good scolding. Sis, how could I get angry? Soo-yen smiled, then raised her eyebrows. I'm just afraid that guy won't be able to control himself. She looked towards Yi Zichin, who was walking with Soo-yoon with his arm around his shoulder. Yi Zichin set up a barrier around the two of them, then licked his lips and glanced behind him. Old Soo, your little girlfriend isn't simple. I can feel it too. Soo-yoon nodded noncommittally. Those guys at the dining table just now weren't ordinary people, right? Yes, their strength is at least above mine. Yi Zichin nodded plainly. Soo-yoon's pupils contracted, then he smiled. That can't be helped. I just like her. I'll take it one step at a time. If it really doesn't work out, I'll get out. Yes, my phone is open 24 hours a day. Remember to call me directly if there is any danger. No problem. They smiled at each other, then dispersed the barrier around them and walked towards Soo-yen and Lee Min-ee. What are you two men whispering about? What did you say just now? Soo-yoon smiled. Yeezy said that he would take me to a healthcare center tonight and asked me if I had time. I naturally refused, since I'm such a righteous person. But this grandson, Yi Zichin, is too much. Just now, he wanted to use his emotions to get me to betray him. That's why we fought for so long. Screwing over a teammate. Yi Zichin already noticed the change in Soo-yan's gaze towards him. However, Lee Min-ee raised her eyebrows without noticing. What is healthcare? You don't even know? Healthcare is just he. Soo-yoon even added his own voice and actions as he explained. Soo-yan's gaze towards Yi Zichin became even weirder. In order to prevent the situation from developing further, Yi Zichin scratched his head with a smile. All right, hurry up and leave. I'm going to send Soo-yen back as well. Let's say our goodbyes here. Yi Zichin held Soo-yan's hand and walked into the car. The moment they got in, Soo-yen tilted her head and stared straight at him. Yi Zichen smiled coyly. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you really lack women right now? Are you lacking women right now? Su Yan asked with a calm expression. As expected, she was still thinking about what Su Yun said just now. This brat truly, screwing over a teammate. Your brother was just joking, don't take it seriously. I'm not that sort of person, Yi Zichen explained with a coy smile. Yi Zichen explained with a coy smile as he pondered over what to say next. However, Su Yan merely nodded in response, then smiled. Su Yan replied plainly, then bit her lips. Su Yan replied faintly, lightly biting her lip. Chapter 407. Heritage Pearl. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was stunned, then pinched Su Yan's cheek. What are you thinking about? I told you, your brother was joking. After being rejected, Su Yan's expression froze for a moment, but she didn't say anything. She maintained her calm expression as she sat in the front passenger seat. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile, as if he felt the change in the beauty beside him. What? Do you want to sacrifice yourself? Pretend I didn't say anything. With that, Su Yan shut her mouth and didn't say another word. When Yi Zichen returned to the Su household, he saw several missed calls and a few text messages. The sender was Su Yun. Opening the message, it was written, Li Min Yi asked me to stay at her place. Should I go or not? The message was from half an hour ago. Yi Zichen directly called her, but her phone was turned off. He took out a 1,000-mile tracking talisman from his treasure chest and chose Su Yun as his target. Sorry, the target you have selected is currently untraceable. Yi Zichen frowned tightly when he saw the notification. Without another word, he activated the Great Tao of Heaven's Birth. Sorry, the current user does not have the authority to track. How could this be? Meanwhile, Yi Zichen, who was sitting in the car, started to feel anxious. He frowned, then stepped on the gas and sped towards the tea house. At the same time, in a girl's bedroom, Su Yun lay bare-chested on the bed. Li Min Yi was also wearing a bikini and straddling his waist. What did you just give me? With his brows tightly furrowed, he raised his hand and was about to push the person on top of him off. Li Min Yi immediately put on a confused expression and said, Don't worry. What are you talking about? Just now, a purple seed came into my mouth from your mouth. Don't tell me you still want to deny it? Su Yun squinted his eyes and sat up. He sneered. Li Min Yi, can you explain it to me? I'm definitely not trying to harm you. What I just gave you wasn't harmful to you either. Li Min Yi also sat up. Her pitch-black pupils gradually turned faint purple, and faint purple strands of hair coiled around her fair fingers. Take a nap. Everything will be fine when you wake up. Su Yun furrowed his brows as he laid on the bed. He raised his hand, but when Li Min Yi placed her hand on his head, he couldn't help but fall back onto the bed in his pajamas. After doing all that, Li Min Yi grabbed a set of pajamas and covered Su Yun with a blanket. Then, she walked barefoot out of the bedroom. In the living room of the room were the 11 people he had just seen at the birthday party. Among them, an extremely handsome young man wearing a black leather jacket smiled softly and stood up from the sofa. It's over. I've already told Boss Black Dragon very clearly that I'm enough in the modern realm. Why are you guys messing around? Li Min Yi said to the people in the room as she fastened the belt on her pajamas. Why did you guys come to my place so late? If not, then please hurry back. The 12 demon sovereigns have all come out. Aren't you guys afraid of something happening over there? Min Yi Lil, sis, why are you so sarcastic? The woman with thick makeup walked over with a smile. We're just worried that you won't be progressing smoothly in the modern realm, so we wanted to come over and help you. Li Min Yi laughed coldly. Help? Are you here to be a hindrance? Do you know who the man you hooked up with at the dinner table is? You almost screwed everything up. Do you know that? Li Min Yi's chest heaved up and down. She hadn't planned on making a move against Su Yun so early. It wasn't the best time to make a move. However, Yi Zichen had clearly noticed something at the dinner table, and she also felt Su Yun's wariness towards her on the way back. She had no other choice, so she chose to make a move. Alright, that's Hua Kuei's personality. It's not like you don't know after living together for so long. Elder Baibin tried to smooth things over. Then he raised his eyebrows. Oh yeah, the man that Hua Kuei took a liking to should be the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, right? Li Min-yi nodded. That's right. The others all looked over, and Li Min-yi nodded. However, there's a higher than 80% chance. Since that's the case, then just directly make a move against him. Why did you find such a small fry? The muscular man frowned. Li Min-yi instantly snorted. Say that to him again if you dare. Hey, it can't be. You really took a liking to a human? The muscular man was stunned. At that moment, the feminine-looking young man instantly appeared beside Li Min-yi and grabbed her arm. Not long later, his expression drastically changed. You gave him the inheritance treasure. Li Min-yi, do you know what you're doing? Su Yun's screams of pain sounded out from the bedroom. The feminine-looking man immediately charged in. What do you think you're doing? Li Min-yi raised her hand to stop him. Her exquisite eyes were filled with hostility. If you dare take another step forward, don't blame me for being impolite. Li Min-yi, you're crazy. You're really crazy. The feminine-looking man roared. You gave the inheritance treasure to that man. As expected, the 12 demon sovereigns who have fallen to the dark side can't be trusted. I don't care what you say. Li Min-yi smiled disdainfully. Then, her eyes filled with heart-chilling coldness. You, all of you, hurry up and scram. Boss Black Dragon said that he'll leave everything here to me. Then, if you dare to interfere, I don't mind changing the 12 demon sovereigns. There are quite a few kids in the demon race. I think they're quite talented. Why don't you give them a spot? Gulp. Everyone in the room swallowed a mouthful of saliva. In terms of strength, even if they combined their strengths, they wouldn't be able to match Li Min-yi. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a human to reach the 12 demon sovereigns. However, Li Min-yi was an anomaly. After falling to the dark side, not only did she control her soul, but her cultivation also grew exponentially. In less than half a year, she became one of the 12 demon sovereigns. After that, she grew stronger and stronger. Perhaps only Black Dragon could compare to her in the demon race now. Haha, do you really want to make me angry? Seeing that none of the demons in the room moved, Li Min-yi narrowed her eyes. A half-meter-wide black ball of light suddenly appeared above her finger. Let's go. The feminine-looking man's pupils constricted. He waved his right hand, and a spatial crack appeared in front of them. Li Min-yi, don't think that this is it. When we get back, I'll definitely report you to Boss Black Dragon. Chapter 408. Lies. The painful screams in the room grew louder and louder. Li Min-yi's expression became slightly worried. Seeing this, the feminine-looking man snorted. Hurry up and see the man you found in the modern realm. Hurry up and see the man you found in the modern world. An abyssal actually wants to marry a human, what a joke. Don't challenge my bottom line. Do you really think I won't make you stay here forever? The ball of light in her hand instantly shrank to a few centimeters in size. The moment it appeared, all the demon sovereigns in the room subconsciously licked their lip. Scram! Shouted Li Min-yi. The feminine-looking man took a step back and sneered. Li Min-yi, don't get too full of yourself. Li Min-yi, don't be too smug. Just wait for Lord Black Dragon's punishment. Before Li Min-yi could react, everyone in the room disappeared through the spatial rift. Su Yun. Li Min-yi bit her lip, turned around in a panic, and rushed back into the bedroom. By the time she entered the bedroom, Su Yun had already woken up. His body was covered in sweat, and he looked like he was about to collapse. However, his eyes were filled with unconcealable coldness as he stared at her. Li Min-yi, you've been using me all along, haven't you? Su Yun smiled indifferently. He looked down at the person he'd once been infatuated with. I'm under your control now, right? If you still care about my feelings for you, then give me a quick death. I don't want to live the life of a marionette for the rest of my life, and I don't want to go against my brothers. Or rather, you want to harm Easy, right? Can you not let your imagination run wild? Li Min furrowed her brows. She reached out to touch Su Yun's forehead, but he mercilessly slapped her away. Don't touch me. She didn't know what to do with her dangling hand. After a while, she nodded and raised her eyebrows. What did you see just now? An old man playing chess, Su Yun smiled. He raised his eyebrows. What else do you want to know? I can tell you everything. You're prejudiced against me, Li Min replied helplessly. Li Min helplessly replied, I've never wanted to control you. You can still live your life in the future, but you'll have another choice in the future. That's all. Yes. Su Yun smiled calmly, but his heart was filled with bitterness. You said you saw the old man playing chess just now. What chess was he playing? Li Min asked again. Su Yun smiled and replied without any resistance, Go, a full board of Go. Li Min raised her eyebrows. Seeing her shocked expression, Su Yun couldn't help but chuckle. What's wrong? If you have something to say, just say it. Think about what I'm about to say. The night was as dark as ink. Yi Zichen drove the car to the entrance of a residential area with a frown. When he got out of the car, he coincidentally saw Su Yun walk out with his jacket. Yi. Su Yun smiled faintly and walked over. Yi Zichen immediately walked over and raised his eyebrows. Did anything happen? Hey, what kind of accident can happen? The corners of Su Yun's mouth curled up, his eyebrows arched, and he smiled meaningfully. You want me to make you lie obediently on the bed? Seriously, this young master is so strong. Hearing that, Yi Zichen instantly rolled his eyes speechlessly. Are you a grandson? Laozi thought something happened to you. Haha, what kind of accident can happen to me? I just wanted to get to know each other better and improve our relationship, Su Yun smiled. Yi Zichen couldn't help but want to punch him a few times when he saw Su Yun's proud look. Yi Zichen forcefully suppressed the urge to hit him, then looked at Su Yun with a frown. Didn't Li Min say anything to you? Of course she did. She said that she likes me, and told me to treat her well. That's not what I'm talking about. Yi Zichen had already noticed that something was off at the dining table. The more he thought about it in the tea house, the more he felt that something was off. An aura that made him feel uncomfortable was very likely demonic energy. What's more, those people were not normal people, and were not weaker than him. Then, he connected it to what Xiangjie said to him. Thus, Yi Zichen suspected that Li Min and company might be demons. However, there were quite a lot of them, and it didn't match up with the number of demons that Lil White said. Hearing that, Su Yun instantly smiled. Then what else can I say? Don't tell me I have to tell you what I say when I'm in bed? TSK Yi Z, that's a little too much. F*** CK off F** CK off F** CK off. Yi Zichen spat on his face in annoyance. From the looks of it, Su Yun really did not know anything. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh, then patted Su Yun's shoulder. All right, if there's nothing else, then go back. Laozi is dead tired from the night. Laozi is more tired than you, all right? Su Yun immediately retorted, then took out his car keys to open the car door on the side of the road. Don't come and find Laozi for a while. Laozi needs to rest properly and recharge. I can't be bothered with you. Yi Zichen got into the car and left the neighborhood without any hesitation. Su Yun's lips curled into a thought-provoking smile as he watched his car disappear. Li Min stood by the window and watched the situation outside. When Yi Zichen left, she smiled faintly. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Within the subdimension of the Dragon God Ring, Yi Zichen and Xia Kiki sat cross-legged on either side of the old dragon god, while a faint golden aura swirled around them. The only reason Xia Kiki could cultivate here was because of Yi Zichen. However, what made the dragon god feel gratified was that Xia Kiki's talent was pretty good. At the very least, it could be considered stunning in the dragon race. Of course, it was still a bit lacking compared to a freak like Yi Zichen. Phew! Xia Kiki, who was cultivating, opened her eyes. When she saw that Yi Zichen was still cultivating, she couldn't help but retort. I really don't know which one of us is a member of the dragon clan. This kid is definitely a freak. The old dragon god couldn't help but shake his head and raise his brows. He had lived for so long, but he had never seen someone who could completely absorb a dragon's soul in half a month. Buzz, at that moment, the golden aura around Yi Zichen's body turned berserk. Yi Zichen roared. When he opened his eyes, a faint golden light flashed across them. Soon after, he stood up and waved his fist. You broke through? The old dragon god smiled. Yi Zichen nodded. That's right. Chapter 409. All personnel were dispatched. Yi Zichen's smile widened as he felt his body fill with power. Earth immortal. Now, even if he went to the three realms, he wouldn't be considered as a low-level scum. However, if he wanted to fight against the Six Realms Patroller and the Demon Emperor, it was still a long way off. Really, you brat, I don't even know what to say to you anymore. The dragon god smiled and shook his head. The speed of his breakthrough was so fast that even he was a little jealous, especially in a place like the Forsaken Land, where spiritual power was not abundant. All right, since you're done with your cultivation, don't disturb this old man's rest. Go back. He waved his sleeve towards Yi Zichen and company. Whoosh. The scene suddenly changed. When Yi Zichen opened his eyes, he and Xia Kiki looked into each other's eyes, especially since they were on the bed. Xia Kiki's face immediately turned red. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll dig your eyes out. TSK, TSK, TSK. Don't be so fierce. It's not the time to shamelessly ask me to get a room in the middle of the night, right? Hearing this, Xia Kiki's face turned as red as an apple. She gently bit the corner of her lips and wrinkled her nose. If you say that again, I'll really get angry. Buzz, the phone on the table rang. Xia Kiki picked it up and couldn't help but smile when she saw the caller ID. It's Susu. She put the phone by her ear, but not long later, she hung up the call and gestured towards Yi Zichen. Susu asked me to go out for dinner. Do you want to come along? Yi Zichen rubbed his stomach. I've been cultivating at the old dragon god's place for the entire day. If I didn't mention it, I wouldn't have known that I was hungry. Now that Yi Zichen mentioned it, Yi Zichen really was a bit hungry. Go, I'll be your wallet. At least you're sensible. Xia Kiki smirked, then jumped off the bed and put on her slippers with a frown. Hurry, Susu's already here. They're going to get anxious from waiting. Under Xia Kiki's constant urging, the two of them arrived at the restaurant Su Yen mentioned in about half an hour. At a table near the window, Su Yen rested her chin on her hand and looked out the window. The sunlight shone on her face, making her look even more enchanting. Yi Zichen couldn't help but take out his phone to take a photo of her. At this moment, Su Yen also looked up with a smile. You guys came together. Yup, this guy said he would be our wallet. Hee, we can save money. Xia Kiki smiled as she sat beside Su Yen, then waved at the waiter. Here, we're taking our order. At the dining table, Yi Zichen set the photo he just took as his phone's screensaver. Su Yen raised her eyebrows and looked at him. What are you doing? Look. He handed the phone over with a smile, and Xia Kiki also moved her head over. When she saw the phone's screensaver, she immediately retorted, You can't be a photographer in this life. Susu is so pretty, and you took pictures of her. TSK TSK, I really don't want to say anything else. Is it ugly? I think it's beautiful. Su Yen couldn't help but blush when she felt Yi Zichen's sincere praise. Ding dong. Your favorability level with Su Yen increased by 5. Current favorability level, 505. Yi Zichen was completely stunned when he received the system notification. His and Su Yan's good impression of each other hadn't changed in a long time. During this period of time, he had always felt that the atmosphere between the two of them was strange. It wasn't until this favorability appeared that he had a misconception. The feeling from before returned. The dining table was filled with sweetness, which Yi Zichen enjoyed very much. After filling his stomach, Yi Zichen stretched lazily, then subconsciously glanced outside the window. He noticed that the car that passed by the restaurant seemed to be Wei Chen's. Swoosh. After that, 4 more black MPVs followed them. Everyone? Recently, the situation of the Abyssals did not improve at all. Instead, it got worse. However, it was fortunate that there weren't too many Abyssals that appeared each time, so the organization only needed to send a small team to deal with them. However, from the number of cars this time, it seemed like everyone in the organization was sent out. A bad feeling rose up in Yi Zichen's heart. He directly called Wei Chen without any hesitation. "Boss Yi, what's the situation over there? I saw several cars just now. Is the situation very troublesome this time?" In the past, Wei Chen's reply would definitely be some comforting words, but this time, very troublesome. Wei Chen's tone was very low as he said, "In the past, most of the Abyssals were beasts and small animals. This time, the Abyssals are still the main force. However, there are 3 more people this time, and it seems like the person controlling them is also here. In order to avoid any accidents, I brought more people." "What?" Yi Zichen slammed the table and stood up, completely shocking Su Yan and Xia Kiki. "Tell me the exact location. I want to go as well. Boss Yi, although this place is a little troublesome, believe me, I can definitely handle it." He knew Yi Zichen's true identity, so he didn't want Yi Zichen to come to such a dangerous place. "You're the boss, I'm the boss. If I say I want to go, just tell me the location. In terms of strength, you're not necessarily stronger than me." Hearing this, Wei Chen sighed helplessly. "Alright, you can come if you want. We haven't entered yet. Let's wait for you to come and enter together." After hanging up, Su Yan and Xia Kiki looked at him worriedly. "What's wrong now?" Su Yan asked softly. Yi Zichen nodded, then rubbed their heads with a smile. "You guys have fun, don't worry. I want to go with you." Xia Kiki pouted. Yi Zichen immediately scolded, "Stop messing around. Why are you following me to where I'm going? Don't be stubborn. Be good." With that, Yi Zichen took a card and left the restaurant. The 2 women sitting on the chairs frowned as they watched his back. At that moment, Xia Kiki tugged at Su Yan and whispered something in her ear. Su Yan immediately revealed a look of hesitation, but in the end, she still nodded in agreement. The place Wei Chen mentioned was a restaurant in the West District. Yi Zichen was very familiar with this restaurant. It was the place where they often ate in the dorm. Outside the restaurant, Wei Chen squatted on the ground with a cigarette in his mouth like a gang leader. Behind him were dozens of men in black leather jackets. It was really fortunate that no police came to arrest them. "Boss Yi." The members of the organization greeted Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen nodded faintly, then looked around. There was no longer anyone walking around. It seemed like Wei Chen had already taken care of everything. Yi Zichen licked his lips and walked over. At the same time, Wei Chen also threw his cigarette onto the ground and stomped it out. "Boss Yi." Wei Chen nodded towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen also nodded and raised his eyebrows. Chapter 410. White Tiger Appear. When everyone entered the other world, the scene in front of them caused them all to open their mouths wide in shock. "What?" the members of the organization all exclaimed. Meanwhile, Yi Zichen and Wei Chen's expressions also turned solemn. What entered their eyes was an endless amount of slime-crawling monsters, while there were also plenty of birds that would occasionally let out ear-piercing screeches. The demonic energy in the air was so thick that it was nearly liquid, causing them to feel nauseous. "The amount this time is truly mind-numbing," Wei Chen couldn't help but light a cigarette for himself, while a silver short sword appeared in his hand. Wei Chen involuntarily lit a cigarette for himself, and a silver dagger appeared in his hand out of nowhere. Seriously, can't you just let me have a peace of mind? Caw! The bird monsters in the air suddenly stopped, then stared at Yi Zichen and company with their faint purple eyes, while letting out ear-piercing screeches. Suddenly, the group of slimy, crawling monsters rushed towards them. In the process, they would spit out green sticky liquid from their mouths from time to time. Brats, it seems like they didn't give us any time to prepare. Let's do it. Screech, the members of Tribulation all took out silver short swords similar to the one in Wei Chen's hand, while silver veins also gradually appeared on their black leather clothes. Whoosh! Everyone turned into blurs as they charged towards the slime monsters on the ground. At the same time, Wei Chen also turned around and chucked his cigarette onto the ground, then looked at the flock of strange birds in the sky. Boss Yi, take care of yourself. I don't seem to be able to help you in a situation like this. Dong! A huge crater suddenly appeared on the ground, while Wei Chen shot into the sky like a cannonball. Wherever the short sword passed, the flock of strange birds would all turn into wisps of smoke and disappear in the demonic energy-filled sky. Yuan. Yi Zichen did not hesitate. Soul Pearly Yuan shot out from between his eyebrows. Several hundred water blades appeared around him, and all of them accurately landed on the chests of the strange birds. Wei Chen raised his eyebrows, then gave Yi Zichen a thumbs up. Just as he was about to rush to another place, a 10-meter-tall figure suddenly appeared behind him. Roar! A huge fist swung towards Wei Chen with the sound of breaking wind. Wei Chen's scalp went numb and he stiffly leaned to the side. The fist brushed past his cheek, but even so, a bloody mark still appeared on his face. Damn it, I already have a scar on the left side of my face, and you want to add a new one on the right side? Wei Chen grumbled and stomped hard on the head of the huge abyssal. Suddenly, a huge palm slapped him from behind. This time, Wei Chen had no time to dodge, and he was sent flying to the ground by the palm. Turning around, he saw that there were already 3 huge abyssals around him. The 3 devils surrounded him and slowly moved towards him. Hey! Bullying the few with numbers isn't considered a hero. Wei Chen sighed faintly, but he did not panic. He rubbed his slightly aching shoulder, then took out a cigarette from his pocket and put it in his mouth. Old Wei. Yi Zichen also noticed the situation. Just as he wanted to go over and help, the strange birds in the sky surrounded him so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Even the group of monsters covered in mucus quickly crawled towards him. So annoying, Yi Zichen frowned. Yi Zichen knitted his eyebrows, then the Soul Pearly Yuan in front of him suddenly turned a crystalline blue ice blade. Whoosh! The water blades around him suddenly transformed into ice blades. Soon after, the ice blades condensed together and flew into his palm. Scatter! The ice blade in his hand instantly released small ice crystals, which pierced through all the monsters around him. Yi Zichen held the ice blade tightly and pushed it towards Wei Chen. Caw! The strange birds in the sky let out another ear-piercing screech. All of the slime monsters in the surroundings instantly crawled towards him, as if they had received a command. Dragon's roar, roar! A deafening dragon roar sounded out in the sky. The image of a huge dragon with its mouth wide open instantly streaked across the ground, and completely devoured all the monsters on the ground. Not long later, Xia Kiki pulled Su Yan and ran over. When Yi Zichen saw them, "What did you guys come here for? Hurry up and leave." Yi Zichen's eyes twitched. The abyssals this time were different from before. It was already difficult for him to protect himself with just the number of abyssals, if the 2 of them were to join in. "I came to help you." Xia Kik's expression was filled with determination. Xia Kik's brows were filled with determination. Although Su Yan was afraid, she still nodded noncommittally. "What can you help me with? Stop messing around and hurry up and leave. Watch your back." Su Yen raised her finger and shouted. Yi Zichen turned around and chopped off the head of the crawling monster as if it was a conditioned reflex. It's really dangerous here. Hurry up and leave. The ice blade in Xia Kik's hand continuously dealt with the surrounding monsters, while the image of a huge dragon occasionally flashed around her body. Then how are you going to send us back? Do you know how? Yi Zichen was stunned. This was merely his second time in the other world. As for how to leave, only Old Wei knew. Old Wei. He was surrounded by 3 giant abyssals just now, so Yi Zichen didn't know how he was doing. Don't worry about us. I'll deal with these small fries here. Hurry up and see where I need your help. Those 3 big guys over there should be very hard to deal with, right? Xia Kiki dealt with all of the monsters that pounced over once again. Yi Zichen glanced at her, then nodded, don't worry. Yi Zichen glanced at her, then nodded, protect yourself. Afraid that something would happen to them, Yi Zichen intentionally found another team of 5 to follow them, while he quickly headed towards Wei Chen's direction. Ahem, Wei Chen, who was smoking, pushed himself up with his hands and looked at the 3 monsters that were looking down at him. It's very painful for humans to become abyssals, right? Roar. What greeted him was an emotionless roar, as well as several huge feet that were over a meter long. Wei Chen dodged the attacks of the nimble giant abyssals. He twisted his shoulders, while a faint silver light flashed across his eyes. It seems like you can't remember anything. Heh. These guys that caused people to fall into depravity really deserve the wrath of the heavens. But no matter, I'll immediately set you guys free. Just treat this as a nightmare. I hope you guys will be a bit luckier in your next life. As soon as he finished speaking, Wei Chen's hair turned a faint silver, and a few strands of white beard appeared on his cheeks. His hands gradually turned into sharp claws, while his eyes also turned into cat eyes. A powerful aura was released from his body. At the same time, he pursed his lips and smiled. Chapter 4:11. See off a friend. A faint silver aura revolved around Wei Chen, making him look like a beast man. His silver hair fluttered in the wind as he calmly looked at the giant abyssals surrounding him. In the name of light, purify. Hua. With Wei Chen as the center, a dazzling light instantly appeared. Some of the strange birds and slimy monsters in the surroundings turned into ashes the moment they came into contact with the light. The 3 humanoid monsters also clutched their heads and screamed miserably. Stubborn resistance. 3 balls of light suddenly appeared in Wei Chen's claws, and he threw them at the abyssal's chest. Hoarse screams rang out from the abyssal's mouths. Not long after, their bodies gradually changed to look no different from ordinary people. But when he saw the faces of these people, Wei Chen's face instantly stiffened. At that moment, Yi Zichen also arrived at the scene. When he saw Wei Chen's expression, he subconsciously raised his eyebrows, but when he saw the 3 people standing around him, stopped joking. He subconsciously took a step back, and the 3 abyssals also looked at him. When he saw Yi Zichen, the tall, muscular youth clutched his chest and struggled to speak. Yi Zi, Kong Peng. Yi Zichen bit his lips and ran over. The 3 abyssals in front of him were his roommates. Why, you guys, Yezi, give us a quick death. Bai patted Yi Zichen's shoulder with force, then smiled wryly. We don't want to become like that again. Since you're here, release us. Stop joking. Yi Zichen glared at them, then grabbed their shoulders. You want us to free you? You're too irresponsible. Think about your family, they are all. Hurry up. Bai suddenly roared. He slapped his head hard and his face was filled with indescribable pain. I'm about to lose control of myself. Why don't you send us away instead of dying in someone else's hands? No, no, Yi Zichen shook his head as he retreated, his voice trembling. Asking him to kill them? What a joke. Didn't we agree to be friends for life? What should I do if you leave so irresponsibly? Tears flowed down uncontrollably. He turned around and grabbed Wei Chen's collar, frowning. Tell me, is there any way to bring them back? Is there? Wei Chen merely shook his head in response to Yi Zichen's question. No. Creak. Clenching their fists tightly, White Feather and the others who were able to maintain their consciousness just a moment ago became more and more blurry. They squatted on the ground in pain, their purple pupils flickering non-stop. Yezi! I can't do it. Yi Zichen stood in front of them with clenched fists. At that moment, as long as he used a bit of force, he could drive Bai Yu and company away. But how could this be done? Get rid of them while they're still conscious. Freeing them now is the best response to them. If they return to their abyssal state, even I might not be able to deal with them, Wei Chen said from the side. Bai Yu and the others also shouted in pain at the same time. Yezi! I understand. Bang! Yi Zichen smashed the ground with his fist, then stood up from the ground and slowly walked towards the three of them. The three of them all had faint smiles on their faces, as if they were relieved that they were about to be freed. The ice blades in their hands fell onto the ground, while their fists gradually glowed with a faint golden light. Sorry. Dong dong dong. Yi Zichen's fists pierced through their chests without any hesitation, while the three of them maintained their smiles. Easy, thank you. Bang. The three of them simultaneously fell onto the ground, lifeless. Botham. Yi Zichen knelt on the ground and cried in pain as he hugged their corpses. Nobody could understand what it felt like to kill one's good friends with one's own hands. Yi Zichen's tears flowed down. Boom. Yi Zichen smashed his fist into the ground, creating a huge crater. He quietly placed the three of them in the crater, then wiped his tears and stood up. The person behind this, I definitely won't forgive you. Ziz, you killed your roommates with your own hands. You're truly cruel. A playful cold laugh sounded out. The man in a top hat smiled sinisterly as he occasionally shook his head as he watched the scene. I've already done what you asked me to do. Now, are you going to let me become a normal person? Zhu Yunbua asked the man with a frown. The brat was the reason why Bai Yu and company fell into depravity. Is this the tone you use when speaking to me? The man smiled coldly. Zhu Yunbua instantly knelt on the ground and kowtowed towards him. Sire, please spare me. I won't tell anyone else anything. I just want to be a normal person. Oh, I nearly forgot if you didn't mention it. The man raised his eyebrows, then laughed mockingly. The man raised his eyebrows and said mockingly, If I let you go, you might leak the news. Zhu Yunbua immediately kowtowed repeatedly, while his tone was filled with pleading. Please let me go. I definitely won't say a single word of what I know. My shoes are a bit dirty. The man suddenly lifted his foot. Without thinking, Zhu Yunbua crawled over on his knees and licked the man's shoe. Ha ha ha! An unbridled laughter rang out from the man's mouth as he looked down at Zhu Yunbua, whose face was filled with anticipation. Bang! Zhu Yunbua kicked Zhu Yunbua away. Sorry, you no longer have any value. As for letting you go, I feel like only a dead person's mouth is the strictest. You! Zhu Yunbua's pupils contracted. He suddenly crawled up from the ground and charged towards Guojing. You bitch, it's all because of you, it's all because of you. Since Laozi is going to die, then come with Laozi. In front of me, bang. Before Zhu Yunbua could reach Guojing's side, a huge bloody hole had already appeared in his chest. Zichenji, Boss Kong Peng. I was wrong. Zhu Yunbua looked at the people in front of him unwillingly, then fell down powerlessly. You watched your roommate die just like that, and you're still indifferent? The man suddenly looked up and smiled towards the sky. Not long later, Yi Zichen descended from the sky and stared at him. Ziz, don't look at me like that. Look at how nice I am to you. I even died the same way as your other roommates. Creak. Yi Zichen clenched his fist tightly. He squinted his eyes, which instantly emitted a terrifying rage. Chapter 412. A gift. Gu Li's eyes flashed with annoyance at the roar. He picked his ears, then raised his eyebrows at Yi Zichen, who was trembling in anger. This isn't a case of whoever has the loudest voice is the boss. Who are you trying to scare? Does it matter? Yizichin squinted his eyes at the playful Guli. If you're unhappy with me, then come at me. Aren't you afraid of retribution? Retribution? Guli's feminine face revealed a faint smile. He stretched lazily, then squinted his eyes. What retribution? You're talking about retribution? Don't you find it funny? Don't be so childish, okay? Retribution. Ha 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 ha, retribution is just for the weak to curse the strong. I don't think you need to say something like that, right? I see you as an opponent. How about it? Are you satisfied with the gift I gave you this time? Creak. Yizichin clenched his fist tighter and tighter. He stared at Guli, then shook his head. You're hopeless. Ha ha ha, that's hilarious. Guli squinted his eyes, then walked towards Yizichin and put his right hand on his shoulder with a smile. Don't you want everyone to be happy? Then I'll make everyone unhappy. Now that I've made my move, shouldn't you do something? F***CKU. Yizichin punched Guli's face. Then, he grabbed Guli's collar and continuously punched him. Ziz, you're too inhumane. That's your roommate. Yizichin looked down and saw that the person he was grabbing was Zhu Yunhua, who had just died. Guli was still standing where he was. Yizichin smiled and stood up from Zhu Yunhua's body. He looked at Guli, who had a playful look on his face, then gradually calmed down. Stop playing these little tricks. There's no need. Don't you want to deal with me? I'm standing right in front of you. You have the advantage in numbers. Come, I'll wait for you here. Whoosh. A pair of black wings suddenly appeared on his back. Yizichin stared coldly in front of him. That's true. Guli nodded noncommittally. Hua. A pair of gray wings suddenly sprouted from his back. When Yizichin saw them, his pupils constricted. Guli laughed playfully. Don't worry. Don't think that you're the only one who has it. Sorry, I have it too. A cold smile tugged at Guli's lips. In response, Yizichin merely smiled calmly, then flapped his wings and shot towards Guli. Bang bang bang. The movements of both sides became faster and faster. In the end, only the scalp-numbing sounds of collisions could be heard, and their shadows could not be seen at all. TSK, your strength is not weak. From start to finish, Guli maintained a faint smile, as if he didn't take Yizichin seriously at all. Hee, Ice Blade. Yizichin merely smiled coldly in response to his mockery. He made a grabbing motion towards the ground, and the ice blade that he had left on the ground immediately flew into his palm. TSK, you're using a weapon? Guli laughed mockingly, but he didn't dare lower his guard in the slightest. He could feel the sharpness of this ice blade. If it touched him, if that happened, it would break into two. Scatter! Just as the two of them were locked in a stalemate, Yizichin suddenly roared. A pile of ice crystals instantly appeared on the ice blade in his hand and flew towards Guli. Oh no! Guli's scalp went numb. As he retreated, he grabbed towards the ground. Guojing, who was looking up at the sky, immediately flew up uncontrollably and stood in front of Guli. Dong, dong, dong. All of the ice crystals entered Guojing's body, causing blood to continuously flow out. At the same time, Guli threw her towards Yizichin. I'm going to give you a big present. Catch it. Bang. As expected, Guojing bumped into Yizichin. Yizichin subconsciously caught her, but when he looked at her face. Yao Yu. Yizichin. Cough, cough. Yao Yu continuously coughed up blood. Yao Yu continuously spat out blood from her mouth. She tried to raise her hand, but her body could no longer support her. She could only look at him apologetically. Actually, I've always wanted to tell you. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Why is it you, Guojing? Sorry. Yao Yu repeatedly muttered. All of a sudden, Yizichin thought of a possibility, causing his body to freeze. There's a flaw. Guli squinted his eyes and smiled, then flew over with his wings and punched through Yizichin's chest. Yi Zichen coughed up a mouthful of golden blood. He turned around and saw Guli looking at him, as if his plan had succeeded. How is it? Are you satisfied with the present I gave you? Cough, blood flowed uncontrollably from his mouth, while his body also fell towards the ground. Dong. His body collided with the ground, causing him to cough up another mouthful of blood. At the same time, Guli also descended from the sky, then slowly walked in front of Yi Zichen with a victorious posture and spat on him. You should feel guilty. If it wasn't for you, these people wouldn't have gotten involved. They might still be enjoying their wonderful university life. But it's all your fault. At that moment, Yi Zichen no longer had the strength to retort. At that moment, he could feel his life force continuously flowing away, while death approached him step by step. Guli seemed to be enjoying the current situation. He narrowed his eyes indifferently and snorted. He squinted his eyes and snorted. If it wasn't for you trying to steal the position of junior family head for Gu Tian, if it wasn't for you trying to ruin all of my plans, if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't have had to get so close to the demons. I wouldn't have done something like that either. It's all your fault. If it wasn't for your appearance, this world wouldn't have ended up like this. But because of your appearance, you ruined my dream. Then, I'll make you have nightmares for the rest of your life. Ha 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 ha. This is merely the beginning. In the future, everyone around you will become abyssals, and all the women will become my playthings. But it's a bit unfortunate that you won't be able to see it because you're going to die. Ha 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 ha. Guli laughed. Hearing that, Yi Zichen's heart was filled with indescribable rage. You're angry? So pitiful. Sorry, I won this time. Guli lifted his foot and stomped down towards Yi Zichen's head. However, at that very moment, a meatball-like fatty suddenly appeared behind him and knocked him several tens of meters away. Chapter 413. The rapidly changing situation. Bang. Guli, who was feeling proud of himself, fell onto the ground. The meatball bomb, who suddenly appeared, also rubbed his neck. When he saw the person he sent flying, I really did crash. I told him not to throw me so hard when we were coming. Seriously, I have to complain about him properly when I get back. He did not stop retorting as he walked in front of Guli and kicked him. When he saw that Guli was glaring at him fiercely, he immediately took a step back and raised his eyebrows. He's still alive, then. He walked in front of Yi Zichen, who had a hole in his chest and a pool of golden blood. Z's, so tragic. It's fortunate that Lord Fatty came over, otherwise wouldn't you be dead already? When Yi Zichen, who was lying on the ground, saw the fatty, his eyes twitched. He moved his lips in an attempt to say something, but was unable to utter a single word. Yi Zichen's face turned even paler. At the same time, the fatty raised his hand and tapped Yi Zichen's head, then took out a light pink pill from his pocket. I used a lot of points to exchange for this. My heart hurts. The fatty clenched his teeth and chucked the pill into Yi Zichen's mouth, then raised his eyebrows. I'm telling you, remember to return it to Lord Fatty in the future. This thing is very valuable. After the pill entered his mouth, the hole in Yi Zichen's chest healed at a visible rate. At that moment, Guli had already stood up from the ground. However, what was strange was that he did not attack, and merely stood about 10 meters away from the two of them. Grandson, are you angry? The fatty stood up from the ground and walked in front of Guli, then shook his head with a mocking smile. Bang. Guli swung his fist, but his hand stopped a few centimeters in front of the fatty's face, while his hand was still bright red from the heat. You're still far from being able to hit Lord Fatty. At that moment, the injury on Yi Zichen's chest had already completely healed, and he sat cross-legged on the ground to recover his strength. It was very hard to imagine that such a serious injury could actually recover so quickly. It seemed that the pink pill wasn't annoying at all. Approximately 10-odd minutes later, Yi Zichen stood up from the ground. He subconsciously touched his chest, then raised his eyebrows towards the fatty. Fatty-een, you came just in time. Ha, this fat lord likes to appear at crucial moments like this. Only then can this fat lord's value be reflected. In Cheong laughed loudly, while Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally. This wasn't the first time, but it was all thanks to this fatty. Otherwise, he might have really died just now. However, very quickly, Yi Zichen's gaze towards Fatty Yin turned strange. This doesn't seem to be your body. Why are you still occupying it? Look at what you're saying. Am I that kind of person? Fatty Yin smiled faintly, then raised his eyebrows. I'm pretty used to this body. When I got back, I got them to make a body according to this. He did not hear wrongly. Fatty mentioned forging just now. A body can be forged as well? Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with confusion. Noticing that, Fatty Yin merely stretched lazily, then raised his hand to his forehead and looked into the distance. The battle really is different with Lil Go. It seems like it's going to end very soon. Go Yuzhan came as well? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and looked up. He saw the illusions of sticks appear in the battlefield over at Wei Chen's side. Not long later, a large number of slime monsters and other beast-type abyssals flew into the sky, while Go Yuzhan's unique laughter also rang out. Ha, I'm the MVP of this match. I'm killing these small fries with a stack of lollipop. I'm so lucky. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen's expression darkened. Did he get conquered by that dazzling lollipop again? Oh yeah, you have to buy lollipops for him. I'm not paying. Fatty Yin turned around and smiled, then frowned. Fatty Yin turned around and smiled faintly. Soon after, his face scrunched up. Damn it, you have to pay me back for the medicine. It's so expensive. My heart aches. Got it. Fatty Yin turned around with a smile. Gu Li, who was unable to move, looked at them with an extremely dark expression, while he clenched his fists so tightly that it made people's teeth cringe. You guys started chatting amongst yourselves. Fatty Yi Zichen. I'm going to kill you. Roar! At that moment, a crack appeared on the ground, and two lion-like abyssals appeared, with purple flames floating above their heads. Go! Gu Li pointed behind the two with a frown. Fatty Yin, who had his back towards him, smiled. Can't hold it in any more? Bang bang. He kicked the two lions onto the ground, then a pagoda appeared in his hand. The pagoda floated in the sky and shone with a faint green light, causing the two lions to fly into it uncontrollably. Sorry, Lord Fatty, will be taking these two purple lions. Yi Zichen put away the pagoda with a smile. At that moment, Yi Zichen turned around and saw Gu Li's dark expression. The two purple lions were trump cards that he paid a huge price for. Gu Li, you lost. The battlefield on Wei Chen's side was almost completely silent. Not long after, Xia Kiki and Su Yan ran over. Yi Zichen, we dealt with everything on our side. Xia Kiki smiled proudly. Xia Kiki smirked proudly. Go Yuzhan also ran over excitedly with a rod on his shoulder. Lollipop, lollipop, not bad. Yi Zichen nodded towards them with a smile, then turned towards Gu Li. Now, only Gu Li, the lone commander, was left to make the fatty stay comfortably in the small space. There was nothing he could do. You have committed a heinous crime for causing people to fall into depravity. Do you have anything else to say before you die? Yi Zichen, you think I lost? Gu Li's lips curled into a strange smile. Suddenly, a series of miserable screams sounded out from behind Yi Zichen. When Yi Zichen turned around, the members of the organization, who were just about to relax, were suddenly heavily injured. As the screams sounded out, Go Yuzhan ran over with his stick. Xia Kiki's expression also drastically changed as the mirage of a huge dragon floated behind her. Parting fire formation, yet the eye of the formation is occupied by water. It seems like the person who set up the formation isn't very skilled at formations. A playful voice sounded out in the sky. All of a sudden, two balls of fire descended from the sky, causing the formation that was restraining Gu Li to instantly collapse. You guys finally came. Gu Li looked up into the sky with a smile. Gu Li smiled calmly, then looked up into the sky. Before long, a smiling youth appeared in the sky. Boom! Yi Zichen's face was instantly covered in shock. Chapter 4:14. Demon Array Master. It must be a lie. Yi Zichen rubbed his eyes. I must be hallucinating, otherwise, why would I appear here? The young man who slowly descended was wearing a black robe, and his long black hair draped over his shoulders. There was a flame symbol on his forehead and the back of his robe. His pitch-black pupils were calm, and the corners of his lips curled up. Brother! Brother! Su Yan's lips quivered in astonishment. The youth walked to Gu Li's side, then waved at Yi Zichen and the others with a smile. What a coincidence! Hey, that's impossible! Yi Zichen had already endured too much that night. He didn't believe that the man in front of him was truly Su Yun. What? You don't recognize me? Yi Zi, we're good brothers. Su Yun smirked. When he heard that familiar form of address, Yi Zichen instantly clenched his fists and roared angrily. Third brother, why? Who can tell me what's going on? This must be a dream. It was a nightmare that he did not wake up from and did not open his eyes. Of the 6 people in the dorm, 4 had died. Only Yi Zichen and Su Yun remained. He actually teamed up with the demons? You must be joking. Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with unconcealable panic. At the same time, Su Yan also took 2 steps forward with a frown and asked in confusion. Brother, do you still want to call me brother now? The corner of Su Yun's mouth curved up, and he didn't bother to hide the mockery in his eyes as he snorted, You call me brother, but I don't remember having a sister like you. Brother. Su Yan took 2 steps forward and reached out to pull Su Yun back, but Pa Su Yun mercilessly slapped him across the face, then pointed at the flame between his eyebrows and sneered. Don't King call me brother. I'm a formation master of the Devil Clan now. Who the CK is your brother? Old Third. Yi Zichen charged forward with bloodshot eyes, but before he could take more than 2 steps, he felt a barrier in front of him completely trap him inside. He knocked hard on the barrier, his eyes filled with confusion. Third bro, can you wake up? Third bro. Su Yun picked his ear and blew in Yi Zichen's direction, then scratched his head impatiently with a frown. Old Third, don't call me so intimately, okay? Are you trying to claim a relationship with me? Really? From beginning to end, Fatty Yin didn't move at all. The instant Su Yun appeared, he'd already placed a restriction around him. Now, even moving a finger was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Brother! Su Yan also cried out, her face covered with tears. Bro, don't mess around. They're all bad people. How annoying! A talisman covered in lightning suddenly appeared between Su Yun's fingers. He waved it at Su Yan, and the talisman's power instantly enveloped her body. Electricity continuously flowed through Su Yan's body. How could a normal person like her endure all this? In just a moment, she fainted on the ground. Su Yan. Yi Zichen kicked the barrier with all his might, then glared at Su Yun with bloodshot eyes. Su Yun, are you crazy? I already told you not to call me bro, but you didn't listen. So annoying. Su Yun kicked Su Yan 10-odd meters away mercilessly. At the same time, 12 figures appeared beside him. They were the people from Li Min Yi's birthday banquet. Li Min Yi walked beside Su Yun and kissed him on the cheek. Thanks for your hard work. What's so hard about it? I'm willing to do anything for my baby, Su Yun smiled gently. At that moment, the elder in the middle also spoke up, we're pretty much done here. Let's wrap things up a bit, then go back. I believe Lord Black Dragon will definitely be very happy about this. With that, he walked towards Yi Zichen. But before he could take more than a few steps, he slammed into an invisible wall. Lord Su, who told you to touch him? Su Yun raised his eyebrows. The elder immediately replied, the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation has always been the demon race's mission target. This young man might, you only said might? Su Yun said with a dark expression. This is my good brother. I don't want you to touch him. Do you understand? Even if you do, Lousy will do it myself. Su! My patience is limited. Su Yun's gaze turned incomparably dark. Su Yun's eyes darkened. At the same time, he formed a talisman in his hand. Seeing that, the elder immediately backed away without daring to say anything else. I came with you guys to save this brat. Su Yun grabbed Gu Li's shoulder, then looked at everyone with a cold gaze. Su Yun grabbed Gu Li's shoulder, then looked at everyone indifferently. Since you've completed your mission, don't cause any more trouble for me. I have a really bad temper. Wherever he looked, everyone lowered their heads. In order to prevent the atmosphere from becoming awkward, Li Min-yi hugged his arm with a giggle. Alright, don't get angry at them. Alright, don't be angry with these guys. We won't take that person away. We didn't confirm whether or not he is or not. Alright, don't get angry. Heh. Su Yun laughed coldly, then slowly walked in front of Yi Zichen and patted Yi Zichen's cheek. My good brother, you have to work hard. Next time, I will personally take your life. Oil 3, stop messing around. Did you forget that our dorm? What dorm? Do we still have one now? Su Yun smiled playfully. He glanced at Zhu Yunbu's corpse, then turned around with a sinister smile. 2016. Disbanded. He stretched lazily, then walked in front of Su Yen and squatted down with a shake of his head with a smile. Why am I so angry when I think about how you called me big brother for so many years? Bang. His fist slammed into Su Yan's stomach and his fingers began to randomly poke at her body. Stop calling me big brother, it's annoying. Then, he walked in front of Li Min-yi and wrapped his arms around her waist with a smile. Alright, baby, let's go to the demon realm. Okay, baby, let's go to the demon realm. I'm very curious about that place. Whoosh. Everyone disappeared from the spatial crack. The moment Su Yun and company left, the spiritual formation around Yi Zichen and Fatty Een also disappeared. I'm going to check on their situation. Fatty Een immediately flew towards the back of the battlefield, while Yi Zichen immediately rushed in front of Su Yan Creek. Yi Zichen nearly crushed his teeth when he saw Su Yan's condition. Su Yan's face was already incomparably pale. Blood flowed out of her mouth, while her body was covered in terrifying bloody holes.